Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Monday, April 9th, and it seems like we're not getting any free packs anymore. Which is a shame because that probably means that I missed out on at least one or two per account as far as free packs. In fact, I'm almost 100% certain that that's the case. Now, we're on the Asian account right now, so maybe the American account will still allow us to get free packs. It's a little weird that that promotion did not run directly into the ability for the new expansion to be purchased. Like, you're kind of cutting yourself off at the feet by doing that. So, like, I don't know what Activision Blizzard is thinking here. It seems crazy. I need to play Paladin cards. I need to win 3 games with Warrior. And see, that might be a tradable one. So let's just play Paladin and Rogue cards. Do we have decks that are full of Paladin cards? Well, that's not full of Paladin cards. Let's see. This is not completely full of Paladin cards. So let's get rid of this and make a Paladin deck. It'd be kind of nice today if we could have a quicker experience. Certainly having a lot of trouble with Darksiders 2. I've come to pretty much a decision that if you've played Darksiders 2, replaying it a second time is probably the worst thing you could do to hype yourself up for Darksiders 3. It is an incredibly long attempt at making a game that feels a lot like World of Warcraft. I feel like they may have even intentionally at some point wanted to make it a MMO. And I guess we can play ranked. There's no reason not to. And at some point they realized they couldn't get the netcode in there, so then they just left it as this single player loot based game where you would run around and get collectibles. Compare that to Borderlands 1. Borderlands 1 has multiplayer online. You can certainly play the game, and I would argue you probably for your first playthrough want to play Borderlands by yourself, so you see all the content and don't have people completing quests when you're not anywhere close to that quest or don't even know what's going on, which is something that can happen. That can also be a great way to grind in Borderlands, because you can have 4 people online all running into different parts of a relatively large map trying to get quests done. In fact, there's some interesting speed runs built just around that. Let's see. I need to play cards, and so as we can play cards, we'll play cards, and then end the turn. Darksiders 2, there's no online co-op play. There's nothing. There's tons of little sections that are separated out as there are these mini dungeons, which could have been put into something closer to 6 or 7 very large dungeons, and I would have appreciated that more. And there's a lot of open area sections that don't have any enemies in them, which is crazy because the first game had smaller areas with more enemies. So I don't know why in the world you would transfer the fact that that in the first game there was a lot of enemies in sort of small open areas that were fine, and transfer that to less enemies and more square footage of land. It's the whole game feels like there might have been 8 different teams not communicating with each other. Systems don't really work together. You have this you have 2 very specific types of selectable abilities. You have one that is built around 4 main things that you need to get through the game. Certain dungeons are going to require you to use these abilities to solve the puzzles, and then you have 6 other things that are just attack or defense abilities, and you'd normally be okay with that, except for the fact that because you only have this menu selection or 4 buttons on the, not even the D-pad. You have to hit left bump and then it's A, B, X, Y. Or you can quick assign one of potentially 10 actions. And eventually I just had to get down to the point where I need to assign 2 of those to actual fighting actions and 2 of those to actual transversal important abilities. The fact that there's not a selection wheel or something that would better explain or fix the issues of how you select attacks. A lot of those attacks could be triggered automatically. They could be triggered by hitting right bump. They could be triggered on the D-pad. You still, to this point, press up on the D-pad, and it seems like it does nothing. So I should probably go back into the menu and see if I can just assign up on the D-pad to do something as its own separate ability. That could be helpful, I suppose. Even if maybe it is the case that BioShock was the first game to ever have selection wheels where you hold down a bump button and you have wheels that you pick your attacks real quickly. Maybe that is the case. The camera's still very much a mess in the game, and you can't really control it while you're in the middle of battle, which is exactly when you would need to control it. So there's been scenarios I've noticed where I'm in the middle of a large fight and the camera's in the wrong place. I can't see my own character. I can't see the enemy, and there's sort of a lock on, but it doesn't really lock the camera on. It just kind of tells you the level. We fought a big spider in a dark, empty cave that the War Mastered Edition did nothing new with it. I really don't feel like the remaster has done anything for Darksiders 2. Now 20 hours in, and mostly it's just poor pacing that's driving me crazy in this game. It's very, very poor pacing, going on forever. It's been 9 days since I started playing Darksiders 2. I'm getting 2.5 hours maybe of gameplay every day. That's about all I can stand. I've certainly also been distracted again, did some more Lego. Not really surprising when you're playing a game that's not that good. And the worst thing by far is they've got me now thinking, because of Darksiders 2 being so long, and certainly the first game wasn't this long, they've got me wondering if maybe I just can't even afford to play Borderlands 2. The whole point was to play Darksiders 2 and then go play Borderlands 2. I don't know if I can play two incredibly long games. I wouldn't have made 30-minute episodes had I known it was going to go this long. But that's fine, too. Like, in the end, getting more and longer footage while we're trying to ride out whatever is happening with YouTube to get back to a point where we could be monetized and get viewers and get some income, like, or just try and be further in the future anyways, it's fine. With, I suppose, Rampage now out in theaters, to my knowledge, I don't believe there's really another video game movie coming out anytime soon. So any kind of tie into that seems unnecessary. E3 is going to happen, and that will start filling the plate of announcements of new games and such. So that might help too. I could have really used to play some game like Minute. Like, I've seen more people play it now, and I really do want to play it. Which is kind of funny because I've changed from not being really interested in playing Minute to being rather interested in it just by seeing some actual gameplay, seeing some of the tricks. Mostly what has caught my attention is spoiler stuff for not a very long game. But it would have been a great game to just take a break and play for a while in between. It seems like it's 5 to 6 hours in Darksiders 2 before you get a new ability. So you're spending a lot of time, that's of really poorly paced time. It's frantic. You go through one room, you get attacked by what I would say is not enough enemies playing on easy. Probably should have played it on normal at this point, but there is a lot of problems with telling people here are your 5 difficulty levels, but we're not going to really explain or give you a demo. It'd be really nice if all games had just like one demo fight on a certain difficulty, or just the ability to change the difficulty at any time. In my experience, doesn't seem like it's too far away from most people who played Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition. It was probably 10 hours ago that I was already down to like 2/3 of the people who own this game haven't made it this far. I'm now down to like 10%. A really low number. Like, so let's see, let's give this Divine Shield, I guess, and then do this, and then we'll do this, and we won't do that, we'll just wait. Now it's kind of understandable if a lot of people got the Definitive Edition, DEATH Definitive Edition. They probably had paid the original game already, and so like the original version could explain why people wouldn't really want to play it a second time, even though the game itself is designed to be played a second time and third time. Like, there's an achievement for reaching level 30. It's a little unbelievable you would make it to level 30 in one gameplay, because it's hardly a game built around just handing levels to people. There's achievements for defeating it on every difficulty level. There's an achievement for getting all the other achievements. There's achievements for collecting 3 different forms of collectibles. Um, there's just a lot of stuff that not very many people are going to get to. So I am under no delusion that I'll get a 100% achievement rank on Darksiders 2, but I'm every recording session I have is built around, I can't believe we're not closer towards the end. I don't even know if I'm 2/3 of the way through the game. I could be even less than that. The storyline suffers a lot when you're playing as the Horseman of Death, and every single character is giving you these ridiculous fetch quests, and Death never really complains about it, and never really feels like he is under any kind of influence or like it feels like Death could probably just beat into submission half of the people that are sending him on quests and take whatever he wanted. It feels like that would be the closer to character response. That's definitely what you would expect War from the first game to do, is to be this angry person. Like in the first game, there's a quest where you need like the heart of 3 demons, so you're sent on the quest to go kill these demons, and so you get through bigger dungeons than Darksiders 2, better dungeons than Darksiders 2. There was like the spider section was a little small, certainly, but they still keep the dungeons in Darksiders 2 too small. There's several dungeons that are just transitional dungeons where you enter one door, go through them, exit the other door, and then you have a fast travel point, so you never really have a reason to travel through them again, except for the fact that we pretty well know that there is a extra ability that's going to teleport you, and you're going to have to run all around the game a second time with that teleport ability to get a bunch of collectibles. Maybe you don't actually have to do that, but very little of this game feels like it's optional. Like, you're either going to just incidentally get the side quest done, or you're going to totally not see sections. There could have been a couple dungeons, I guess, in the Forge Lands, which is kind of the first half of the game that didn't even need to exist. It would have been rather nice if the game had just started in the Land of the Dead. There was a couple dungeons in the Forge Lands, though, that you didn't really need to enter at all. So maybe there's a speedrun strat that most people wouldn't see. We're making good progress here. We're not getting any victories, 0 and 2, but that's fine. The only real victory I was expecting that I might get would be a quick disconnect. That's enough talking about Darksiders 2, because I feel like I've talked about it and said the same thing several times. I really want to get that game done. I probably need to schedule some things. I probably, like, there's a chance that things might not air on time just because I'm not looking and seeing what the schedule times are. It's also kind of hard to care about running a channel when your channel feels like it is, where there's just like a very low viewership and no real monetization policy other than getting people to potentially gift me games, which that certainly hasn't happened as much as I would like. I didn't really expect it to either. Like, in all honesty, if people are going to gift me games and that's going to be the monetization policy, that doesn't work in the long run, because I'll just have way more games. Like, if 5 people were giving me a $60 game every month, that's probably more games than I could cover in a month. It would start to push the channel in a very different direction, in which we would just do spotlights or quick looks of games and not actually play them all the way through. Let's move on to news. The You Don't Know Jack game is coming back for the Jackbox Party Pack 5, which I guess this might be the first time that it's come back since the You Don't Know Jack game is from like in 2013. So it's gonna be also Fibbage, Quiplash, Drawful. Like, I'm trying to see what the real deal is here with this. So, I think this trailer spends the first minute of 1 minute and 40 seconds teasing some kind of like media service, fake media service, to then break in and go, hey, we've got a new You Don't Know Jack game. You don't know Jack if you don't know it. Is just kind of a edgy, like, comedic quiz game, 4 players usually. I suppose maybe it will get raised up to more than 4 players this time, maybe. And they ask you questions and you get money. Let's see. It says, oh, I need to zoom into this page, make it larger. Yeah. 8 player support, bigger, crazier Jack attacks. Jack attacks are speed questions, new question types, audience integration, brand new fart sounds, streaming features, begrudging meme references, new ways to screw your other players, a lot of old fart sounds too, more than one Frasier joke for some reason. So yeah, that's interesting. I bought a lot of the original You Don't Know Jack games, thinking that would be a way to make quick and easy content, asking answering questions, and it does kind of have a TV show, like a quiz show feel, making content for covering them, but it still takes the same amount of time. It still takes about 30 minutes to cover one game of You Don't Know Jack, and there's so many random iterances that it didn't really help. So yeah, it's a quiz show with a little bit of dirtiness into it. In like the Jackbox series of games, like I still have that Jackbox series, Jackbox Party Pack 3 that I spotlighted installed, because I figured eventually one day I would get all of the daily quests done early and still have a lot of news to do, and maybe we'd get some people online and try to do it, since only one person needs to have the game installed and everybody else can play on their phone. You can actually play this live, or at least slightly live, because the questions, like, I think also show up on your phone, so live streaming should work still, but I wouldn't be surprised if it actually doesn't work that well. So it's a little something to be excited about if you like quiz. I would I would argue that You Don't Know Jack is probably the best quiz game out there if you can, as long as you can enjoy or slash put up with the dirty joke parts of it. If you just want a clean by the books quiz trivia game, I'm not sure that there's anything that does it in a good quality way that would make sense for this to be a video game, where you could probably just get Trivial Pursuit and play in real life, or find some kind of online source. Our first game for Steam is called The Adventures of Clive McGullen on Planet Zeta 4. Has 3 reviews, came out April 6th. It's from a developer who has only one game. 20% off for $3.99. It looks like a platformer. Graphics look old school and a little bad, but it also seems like that might be slightly intentional, but also not excusable. Looks like something you might see for like Commander Keen type games. The 3 reviews are all positive, which is a little bit suspicious. It does have this gravity flipping mechanic where you're walking upside down on platforms, but a lot of this looks like either it's assets that have not been pre-rendered, or just very poorly animated assets. It's definitely an 8-bit style of animation, and I think it's probably just too expensive. Even though it looks better than your average bad game, it's too expensive to give a try to. We see a lot of that in games too on Steam. It's just there's so much here. I would say 99% of all games I've looked at so far have had this ability to just been ignored. But maybe I still think I want to cover them. I'm really hating the fact that I'm not getting a card pack for that. And it really didn't warn me, other than saying make sure you did it, you get that done. It didn't say make sure you get all your quests done before tomorrow or in 3 days or anything like that. And it didn't tell me a specific date. So I feel like Hearthstone bamboozled me. Is this all row cards? Not all row cards. So we'll just delete this. And we'll do this. And then we'll choose some row cards. And have 30 row cards to play. I wish there was an option where you could turn off gold cards completely. But I guess the way you would do that is you turn them to dust, and that's not what I'm doing on the Asian account. There we go, 30 row cards. Ready to play, and might as well play ranked and go. Next game we have is called Zyternion, Zyternion. No reviews, came out the 6th. It's the only game from the developer. 10% off for $4.49. Let's look at the trailer and see what it looks like. It looks like a very, like, I don't even know if you could call this 8-bit, if not pre-8-bit. Like, it looks like an old arcade game, something you would see on an Atari pre-NES era graphics with a crazy name. that that I can't pronounce. Yeah, I don't see any reason why anybody would want to play this game for any price. Let's see. Does it have any single player? No, it's local multiplayer only. So it's 4 players. 1 suspicious positive review. Like, honestly, if you're a new developer, you gotta hit it out of the field. You really do. You gotta come out with something like Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Some kind of character, some kind of game like that. Maybe Life is Strange is another great example of where I would expect something. Headlander might be another game that you'd think. It doesn't all have to be 3D and great graphics, but it does have to be some kind of visual appeal that looks way better than the average. And all I see over and over again is average. I cannot play what I would like to play, so I'll just do this. I guess I could have probably played this, attacked him, and then attacked with that. Let's see. PC Gamer, this is not really video game related, but they've decided to expand and arguably infiltrate. Like I talked about this phrase where people with a political agenda, which I feel like some people, if not all the people at PC Gamer, do. They try to infiltrate certain niches and then gain some power and then change it. That is a very, very cynical way to say what's happening, but I kind of also believe it to be true. So they've now made a board games channel, so they're expanding out. Is it going to be let's see. It's a channel, as in their webpage now has board games. Let's see how this works. Yeah, they have magazine, board games, podcast, meet the team. It's under the more thing. They also have reviews, hardware. So you're gonna start seeing probably a decent amount of cross promotion trying to promote their board games channel. Board games, I mean, if you really want to talk infiltration, Will Wheaton and Geek and Sundry, which is now a completely failed YouTube channel that has really nobody on it. Felicia Day, I don't know if she's just difficult to work with or what, but she seems to get kicked out of everything that she's in. Like, she was on Supernatural as this character. That character got killed off. Then she really didn't act in anything. She was in a terrible movie or two. She's on the TV series The Magicians for a couple episodes. That seems like all she can get as far as work. But she was allegedly, the truth came out eventually that it wasn't the truth. She was allegedly the founder of Geek and Sundry with Will Wheaton. Turned out, no, that's not really the case. That actually it was a Chinese company that started Geek and Sundry, and it's the same company that owns like the Nerdist. But Will Wheaton is a big old SJW, and his board game show, which I liked the first season of, but it doesn't come out with any kind of frequency, and I really liked it in despite of Will Wheaton. In fact, the series would have worked fine with any group of people. You do have a diminishing return with board games, though. Also, it caught my interest for about one season until I realized I have nobody in my life that plays board games, including myself. I would think, and my big issue always with PC gamers, they have this name which gives them undue authority, and I guess that's just good branding at some point. Like, a lot of people come to PC Gamer, I feel like, just because it's called PC Gamer, and then they don't really do a good job reviewing video games. They choose to cover a lot of games just to be advertisement shills. They are way too nice to the video game industry. So I wouldn't be surprised if their board games channel is them being very nice and not very critical to board games and just pushing people to buy more of that. I mean, there might even be a slight desire to weaken the video game industry because, like, the movie and music and every other industry doesn't like the fact that video games are so strong. Some evidence to that now is Grand Theft Auto 5, which I can't believe so many people have bought it, is now the most profitable entertainment property ever, beating movies, music, anything. Like, it's made more money than anything else. So yeah, I won't be watching PC Gamer's board game channel. I could not care less. I really shouldn't even be looking at their articles, but it's a weird trade-off in which you have to pick the devil you know versus looking at, say, Kotaku or Polygon or IGN or GameSpot, where those are even more annoying Twitter feeds to follow. Next story we have from PC Gamer is Vermintide 2 dials back the difficulty with its latest update. So if you're playing Vermintide 2 and you felt like there was some extreme spikes in difficulty, which is what the feedback was, I suppose, the newest patch is going to try and fix that. I'm sure everybody, well, honestly, when you change the difficulty in anything, I'm sure half of the people are happy about that and half of the people aren't. And that's really more of a reason to wait until a game is finished, but you really can't wait for a game like Vermintide since it's one of these online multiplayer experience games. Like that's definitely part of the reason why I don't like things like Destiny, is you never really get the perfect experience. If there is a Game of the Year edition of Call of Duty, so many people have either become experts at the game you can't win, or so many people have gotten bored with the game and left, you can't have the experience that you want. The best you can do is pre-order these games and suffer through bugs and glitches and then complain about it. And any hobby where one of the steps built in is complaining about it is not a great thing. Apparently, this one of the developers, that a friend of one of the developers or somebody that one of the developers I follow retweeted this, and they changed their name from like something very positive to Love is Dead, which it almost felt like they went through a bad breakup and now they're upset about that. But this game isn't out till spring of 2018, and honestly, it could be an interesting game, or it could be something that when we see it in spring at some point, will give it some more chance. And I wouldn't be surprised if you actually saw some reviews and coverage of this one, since it seems like somebody has some networking and connections. Let's see. It's a successor to a game called I Saw Her, which was a web game series that won the 2014 Canadian Video Game Awards for Best Casual Game. Let's keep smashing the face. And I guess it's an action puzzle game about love, death, and pancakes. You and your love are on a world-spanning adventure through graveyard cities and art galleries. Apparently your love is a zombie. Interesting. I kind of liked that movie Warm Bodies, where the guy falls in love, the zombie falls in love with the girl. See, this game says it's gonna have 300 lovingly handcrafted levels, which is gonna be the start. Let's see. And it's designed by the creator of the I Saw Her series, whatever that was, but narrated by somebody from League of Legends, Dead Island Epidemic, Crypt of the Necrodancer, and Torment Tides of Numenera. And then it has an original soundtrack from Coin Crypt and Century Night, and it has 2D art by a team that did Injustice 2. Let's see. This. And then this. I should have hit that one by far. Like, so Injustice 2, Mortal Kombat X, 100-Foot Robot Golf, Skullgirls, Steambirds Alliance, Tasty Town, and Heroes Island of Adventure, and others. So there's actual, like, people that have worked on games before are making this game. And to be fair, if I didn't know that that was the case, I could still call a lot of its low polygon animation in the screenshots as being just asset flips. I mean, they still really just kind of do look like that. But anything cartoony at a smaller scale, particularly when there's no consistency, does kind of just look like an asset flip nowadays. And that's certainly a problem. We wouldn't really even know what the phrase asset flip meant if it weren't for the fact that there's been so many of them, and people, to his credit, for what little I'd love to give him, like Jim Sterling, definitely have been doing a lot of work to point out asset flips. So, I mean, really nothing to say there. I shouldn't have even talked about that one. Next game we have is called Boltzmann Brain, and it's from a developer who hasn't made anything else. It's 20% off for $3.99. That should be the first warning here. Again, this is a slightly more zoomed in camera of 8-bit animation stuff, but it just looks like a student project. Like, there's definitely, in my mind, 4 years at least of experience that all game creators need to have gone through, and all artists need to have gone through. Now, some may argue that if you were going to a college and just getting a business management degree, very little of those classes actually are developing any skill or teaching too much, particularly if you had taken college level classes or very similar classes in high school in the first place. As far as game development and art, and probably music too, there's real experience you need. There's a level of just growing up to. There's a level of understanding what art is and how good it can be. I feel like a lot of these people, if I was just to guess, don't even look at other video games, or they look at something like Far Cry 5, which is a recent game, for example. They look at something like Far Cry 5 and they think to themselves, oh, that's a team that used millions of dollars and there's no way I as an independent person could do that, so I don't even have to try. When that's not the perspective that the end user, the purchaser of your game, is going to look at your game. They're going to look at your game and compare it to Far Cry 5, and if you can't get 3D realistic graphics like Far Cry 5, then you've got to figure out some other system and some other way to intrigue them. And I'm certainly willing to play games that are slightly ugly in graphics, but I'm not willing to play games that look like they were made in 1980. And that's what this looks like. And that's what so many of these games, Boltzmann Brain. See if there's any negative reviews at all. There's 14 positive reviews, which is suspicious. A lot of them for free. That's why at the top it says 8 reviews, and at the bottom it says 14. Man, I guess I am in part happy that I really have no intention of ever trying to make a video game and put it on Steam, or make a video game at all, but I'm also kind of saddened that I wouldn't ever get the opportunity to show up so many of these pathetic attempts that get put on Steam. And really, I just shouldn't see them. If Steam started curating games, if they said Steam Direct was a total failure, you guys were right. We weren't thinking at all. And we're gonna start doing a decent amount of looking at games before we allow them on our store. That would be fine with me. I'd be totally happy with that. And then I could look at games and go, well, this one has something that I know somebody would want to buy. Instead of, honestly, it feels like 90% of the games are not interesting to anybody at all whatsoever. Anybody with a working brain, any realistic thought of any kind of player, the person that plays video games, I don't see any appeal. Next game we have is called Terror Rhythm (parentheses TRRT), rhythm driven action beat 'em up. It's by a developer who has, seems like, 2 games, so this is their second game. It's 25% off for $14.99, and then this is the other problem, is as soon as I looked at the logo for Terror Rhythm here, it looks good. It's positive 88% of 25 users, came out April 6th. It looks good, but then the price is too high. So now I'm watching the trailer, and the animation is unique on top of looking good, which is another certainly good thing. Let's just go ahead and do this. And then this. It's pretty much the same as the... what was the name of that game? There was a stick fighting game I played where enemies come from the left and right screen, and you have to hit buttons left and right to attack the enemies in a rhythmic pace, and they just keep on coming. It had a lot of different weapons and abilities what was it called? Five Finger Death Punch or something like that. Terror Rhythm looks a lot like that, although it may have this musical element to it too, which would probably just mess me up. It seems like you're some kind of ninja in a demon mask with a lot of black and red and white colors. In the background looks like it's a modern, maybe futuristic world. It seems like you're getting attacked by these black monsters. So I think the game I played that was very similar to this, I think I either got it for free or 99 cents. Maybe I spent $1.99 on it. I don't see why I would want it. It's early access, and $15 is like crazy. How, like, it may be doing something different though. That's one of the factors to consider here, is that the music, let's see, you can put your own music in the music library. That certainly is interesting. That would also help a lot with YouTubers if the music that comes with the game gets content ID. There's only 3 negative things. One has 0.1 hour. This game is completely broken for some users. Do not buy until they fix the issues. The game crashes while trying the initial actual gameplay. I'm getting a refund after posting this, and if you bought the game, I advise you to do as well, so it as to not support the practice of releasing broken and completely non-functional games in the store. Let's see. And the other review is long and doesn't seem like it addresses a general issue that many people would have, so I'll ignore that. So the reviews are good, although small, but I would say the reason why they are small is simply because their game just does not, it's too expensive. That's just what it breaks down to. I'm looking at the other game that this developer has made, and it looks kind of like some kind of World of Warcraft in cartoony space elements. What is this tagged as? RPG casual? Yeah. Let's see. Non-linear. Do this. Let's do this really quickly in the turn. Yeah, their previous game, which came out September 5th, 2017, had an all-time peak of 26 players. And it's a single-player game. It's still reviewed well, and it's the same $14.99. At the very least, if this is a company just trying to make money and not trying to be artsy and do anything great, their company is, by the way, called Evil Co Games, which is not a great name to call your company, as much as you might think. It's a funny joke. Yeah, at least they're making a good product and then asking too much compared to other games that make a bad product and ask too much. Let's see, under Steam's horrible related things, you have something called Box VR, a game called Beat Hazard, a Drum Hero PC for $5. Let's see. Drums Hero PC. It's early access. Came out June 21st. Like, how do you connect drums to Drum Hero? That's the part I don't think you do. There's a game called Rift Racer, Race Your Music. There's Symphony, Intralism, Melodies Escape, Auto Staccato Quantized. Here we go. One Finger Death Punch right now is the game. It's overwhelmingly positive. 95% of 169 reviews in the last 30 days. It's overwhelmingly positive for everything. It came out March 3rd, 2014, and it's $4.99. And it has 152 Steam achievements, which it's not an achievement game too much around that, but it maybe is a little bit of that. So, One Finger Death Punch looks like it's a lot faster. So I would heavily recommend just buying that game for 1/3 of the price, like, over buying this new game that's only got that music element to it. That's kind of all it's got for it. I wouldn't be surprised if Trail Rhythm actually got some coverage though, so we might see when it comes out of early access in several years. I'm sure we might see people actually play it and think, okay, well, now it works well. Don't need to talk about sales that have already gone. I think I already talked about a game called Dead, but it came out April 6th. It's 90% of the 10 reviews are positive. It's the second game from this developer. It's 15% off for $4.24. So, yeah, this game called Dead, what does it look like? It's labeled an action game. Yeah, this is the boss rush, like kind of looks sort of like Binding of Isaac, bullet hell shooter type game where you're flying around. Yeah, we already talked about this game. 15% off. Let's see, I had one negative review, and it's not in my language, and that's it. So I must have just clicked on the link twice. Let's see. Next game we have is a game called RTS, Real Time Strategy Commander, Smash the Rebels. It's from a developer called F Games that's made one other game called Voltage. It's 40% off for $4.79. Let's see, force an enemy to destroy those two. Do this. Do this. Do this. And do that. Let's look at this game and see what it is. Well, it's bad graphics. In fact, it's slightly worse graphics, it seems, than what you would have even gotten from StarCraft 1 or Warcraft even. So why would you want to play that game? It's a real-time strategy. It's hard to justify. It has like an all-time peak of 2 people that have played it. Let's see. It says it's single player only, early access. Like, Yeah, it looks like it's a cheap attempt to clone like Command and Conquer. Um, let's see. Let's look at the reviews. It's like, here's a negative review from April 7th. I understand the game only has one level present at the current build, so this will not be factored into the plethora of issues and missing features. The major offenses include the inability to save, game crash, random crashes upon startup. Like, so a completely unfinished game. Why is this allowed on Steam? It doesn't look good in the first place. The publisher, by the way, is not the developer, which so often that is the case. It is the same person. So why is a publisher, which has published a couple of other games, or at least one other game, risking its credibility? I guess the only other game that this publisher has put out is a game called Seasonal Soccer, which has no reviews and came out March 20th, 2016. Wow. No user reviews, and you're talking 2 years have gone. And it is the same developer. Wait a minute. Well, what was the one game that... Oh, they just spelled their name wrong as the developer, and that's why Steam has got it all split together. So, like, fake games. I mean, what can you say? Fake games. We've been going about an hour, which maybe that is the right amount to go. We've still got a ton of stuff to cover. Not too much of it's going to be video game news, though, I don't think. Being Monday, nobody has made any news. Being close to E3, it would be nice for me to get the E3 schedules and try to figure out what, if anything, I'm going to cover. We had PAX East happen. Not a ton of stuff happened for PAX East. Maybe, like... So far, I've only seen You Don't Know Jack was announced, and that's kind of it. So this is a good place to wrap up. Stay tuned if you're watching live, of course. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. We'll move over to the European account because we don't need to do this. We can just wait a day and do that on Wednesday. Like, comment, share. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites like Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. If you want to support me even further, gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to another recording of Hearthstone. Please subscribe and click that notification bell. If we're going through the daily quests, and Hearthstone kind of screwed us over on getting some free packs because it didn't tell us when we needed to get all of those done. So I probably lost 2 packs on the Asian account. I probably lost 2 packs on the European account. Good news is I don't believe I missed any on the Americas account because I just happened to get a watch and learn and already get that done. I don't have a cycle, so I would recycle this. So much like the Asian account, I just need to play hunter cards and warrior cards, which is good. I'm gonna have a problem with got this pack, I guess, in the post show. I'm gonna have mostly a problem with getting through all the news, so I've got to figure out ways to speed up the process of going through all these Steam games while still kind of covering them. Maybe we could try just giving up on games as soon as they look bad, since the level of quality is so low. Like if you were working, say, on the conveyor belt picking apples and you were picking out the bad ones, you wouldn't look at a rotten apple and say, well, I need to look at this rotten apple for every very carefully and from every angle. You would just say it looks bad and throw it out. We need hunter cards. Let's start with that and see if we have a hunter deck full of hunter cards. Yes, we do. So we can do that. This is making it pretty easy to play the Hearthstone daily quest today, since all I have to do is do that. We can play as ranked. It doesn't matter if we win or lose, since we're just playing cards. Next game we have on Steam is called Third Front. Came out the 6th. It's from Hapster's Game, which has made 2 other games. It is 10% off for $7.19, and it's got a trailer that looks a little interesting, but it also looks like it is a real-time strategy top-down game, which I just looked at a Command & Conquer ripoff and said no to that. This, on the other hand, looks more like maybe a board game type thing. And there's cards involved. It looks a little bit like Risk. I think I may have to actually watch the trailer just to figure out how this game is played, because it does definitely feel like it's a it's like some kind of deck collecting, almost like Risk game, but sped up. Has an all-time peak of 31 players. It's early access. I'm not seeing anything in the description that says it's based on any card game. Let's see, the 5 negative things. Here's one. This paragraph was deleted because the developer cannot handle criticism in any way and expect me to change the paragraph because he translated a single button, completely missing the point of what was originally a positive paragraph about wow. Let's see. What happens if I don't pick in time? Like, this guy has a long review, and the first part just is complaining about him. See, the other reviews are in different languages. I'm a little suspicious, even though it's 40 positive reviews. Like, let's see, switch this back to my language. Yeah. You know what, though? I can't. I mean, it really is the kiss of death of a complaint, of an argument. If if anybody in the negative reviews says the developer can't handle criticism, I just don't want to give the developer my time. So this could be a great game. It actually does look like it's a good game. But I don't want to give my money to an early access game that's $7.19 if the developer isn't going to learn from the criticism of being in early access and try to improve it. And it's kind of such a unique game that while there's Hearts of Iron, for instance, which is probably somewhat similar to that. There's a game called Cold of War that's free to play. There's War Thunder, Men of War. I don't play a lot of these military games, even if they were military board games. Men of War, Assault Squad, Brothers in Arms games, Company of Heroes games. So a lot of military things here that yeah, why not instead play Hearts of Iron, which when I'm looking at Hearts of Iron looks like it might be a somewhat similar experience to this other game. Yeah. So there's this room for trickery. There's a room for sabotage where all somebody has to do in the review is complain about censorship. And I am just so anti-censorship that I'm willing to believe them to the point of not even giving this game its due. Third Front looks good. If it comes out of early access, it would be interesting. Like, their music band manager, the previous game is 82% positive of 299 reviews. Their other game is 66 positive of 54 reviews, and that's called Hero Rush Mad King. So, like, it looks like they do slightly quality product. But that one thing, the fact that there might be censorship, really is just such a trigger for me. And it turns out I've always been very anti-censorship to this weird story. And I have to preface this story with, I might be crazy and misremembering completely, and I cannot prove this is true at all. What I can prove is somewhere around a decade ago, give or take half a decade, so anywhere between 15 years to 5 years ago, I, in playing around with Photoshop, an old version of Photoshop, made a series of art pieces in which I took a famous painting of the birth of Venus, which has a bunch of naked men, women, cherubs, and a dolphin, and Venus naked coming out of an oyster shell in the middle. It's a very famous painting. You've almost certainly seen it. I was playing with that, and I was making a series of censorship things and doing in Photoshop some different censoring things and being ridiculous about the censorship. So one of the pictures that I do have and have found and actually have that printout is me doing a thick black inked outline on all the people and just whiting out the entire scene. So 90% of the entire picture is censored. It's just all you can see is sky. And I also have one where I just censored it by having the word censored and kind of bubbling it, and it's not really that censored. That was kind of the main cover piece. And I think I have another one that did something different. However, as best as I recall, and this is the part where I can't prove because I don't have this picture. It should have been with the others, but it isn't. So maybe I'm just Mandela affecting myself. There was a fourth picture in this collection in which I did a poor job of putting black bars over like all the boobs and all the kids, and I spent a lot of effort completely blacking out the dolphin, and that was the joke. The whole picture is interlaid with me doing poor jobs of placing the black bars and making people, if you really spend an hour looking at it, while you'd spend an hour looking at a picture, saying you would see like black bars are covering up the faces and the ears of one of the cherubs, and it's just like it's not balanced, it's not equal, it's missing some parts of skin and not others. It's the decisions when you get down to what exact pixel has to be censored for what reason. So I'm getting into this longer conversation slightly. As best I can remember, I made a fourth picture like that. I watched this YouTube channel called Censored Gaming that covers censorship in gaming. Usually it's a lot of how Yu-Gi-Oh was censored, and they're just going episode by episode and talking about how things were changed. And it's a very broad definition of censorship to include any changes whatsoever, any localizations. Although, let's face it, a lot of localizers now try to say, oh, it's not censorship, it's just localization and doing what is appropriate for certain audiences. Which, I mean, censorship is censorship, whether you want to admit it or not. If you're changing anything, removing anything, you're censoring. In one of their videos, they bring up the Wikipedia article of the definition of censorship, just to show what it is worth. And that picture that I'm pretty sure I made, and I must have put it on the internet at some point. I certainly can't recall. I know I was on forums. I'm probably uploaded a picture like that at some point, somewhere on some forum, and it must have just floated around the internet. And again, all this is like, I can't prove it, so I might just be Mandela affecting or misremembering. It's very possible. I only made 3 pictures, and this picture is just similar enough, and it's not like it's the most unique concept either. So that could be it. But if you go to Wikipedia right now and you look up the phrase censorship, you'll see a picture there. I'm sort of I think it's mine. I think that I looked on Wikipedia. I couldn't find any credits except for to the original creator of the original art piece, which obviously I did not paint the birth of Venus. I didn't do anything other than do some pretty basic Photoshop stuff, which would have been slightly amazing back when I did it, a decade and a half ago. But so go check out that picture. Can't prove it though, and I don't see like really a reason. The only reason I'd want to prove it is just to say, hey, that is mine, and maybe get credited on Wikipedia. I don't want like any kind of. Frankly, it's probably not worth anything. I want to Getty image it and try to make money off of it or anything. I'm actually rather happy that that one of the maybe 3 or 4 art things I've done in my life would actually gain any popularity at all. So I probably shouldn't dig too deep either. It's like I should probably just enjoy being happy and being crazy if it turns out it's not my art and I just did something similar and I'm misremembering. Like I should just die happy thinking that I gained some small bit of celebrity as the image of hypothetical censorship of that Go check it out, I guess. Next game, I since I said censorship, I did want to cover that story. Next game we have for Steam is called Whack the Serial Killer, which would be certainly a candidate for censorship, just for the name. It's the only game by this developer. Came out the 6th. It's no discount for $1.99. Let's see. It's got a trailer. It's got that. Got a black and white artistic style. Now on the animation, it is thick black outlines, on the characters, but the angles are good. So, man, this is really brutal. This game I'm looking at. Is this girl the serial killer? She's like, like, this guy just shoved a hose up this guy's butt and inflated him. Like, this is done in a cartoony animated way to not get too grotesque. It's not lifelike. There's like a guillotine and a torture rack and all kinds of things. Single player, and somebody's got some issues, certainly, making a game like this as their first thing, but they've also got my attention. They've done something risque and dangerous. Electric chair. Like, now I could see this game also being like not have actual any gameplay in it, and it's more just a murder simulator to live out your fantasies. Let's see. Abducted and tied up in the basement by a psychopathic serial killer. It's up to you to turn the tables on this crazy freak and find all the ways to kill him in the most brutal and bizarre fashions, featuring everything from demonic toys to medieval torture methods. You'll be shocked and entertained with every kill. From the makers of Whack Your Neighbor, Whack the Burglars, and Whack the Creeps comes the most gruesome yet. And so there's like this whole series, I guess, of kill people. Let's see. That wasn't a smart move. Actually, it was. 4 games for the price of 1, all in HD. So there's like a certain number of solutions like that you need to find. Warning, these games aren't for everyone, but for those who love a bloody animation, crazy creative kills, all are a perfect way to spend a small amount of your day. Let's see. Let's see if there's any negative reviews. There's 2 negative reviews and 7 positive ones. Neither of the negative reviews are in English. This game's got me sold. Like, it's stupid. Looks like a stupid celebration of violence and gore in a puzzle format. It feels like something I could play during Halloween month. This also feels like something that might end up on a Trump video games are violent film reel, certainly. Hey, there's the Puppet Master puppets. So, from, I guess that is the Demonic Toys series, isn't it? I was just thinking a general phrase of Demonic Toys, not that movie series that was awful. So yeah, I in a very stupid way have to give a thumbs up to $1.99 for Whack the Serial Killer. That's something that'll get me flagged on YouTube probably. So like age restrict that one. Yeah. So I'd have to spend $1.99 and guarantee no anything. Lemon Lover, has Rydo ever considered getting a face cam as well, or is just rolling with the mic for life? I'm pretty much just rolling with the mic for life. There's literally nothing you want to see with the face cam. There really isn't. It's like, I ain't pretty. Obviously, if you haven't figured it out, I guess I'll say I'm not a female, so there's nothing there. Arguably, if I was a female, I would be doing face cam and trying to get as much attention by dressing provocatively and showing as much cleavage as possible. But I'm just a guy, so yeah, there's nothing to see there. On top of that, the people that do face cam, they eventually, like, I don't know if this is a generalization, but they eventually stop focusing on games altogether. PewDiePie, great example of this, where like he's very rarely even playing games now. He's got so many other little skits that are about him and about other things. That's where face cam takes you once you start doing that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think we're ever gonna do that. It also, I think, makes it just easier to show the games, and it makes it easier for people to listen to my words and try and understand them. There's Video Game Junkie in a similar way. Like, well, his, I believe directly, is from the fact that he's African American, and a lot of people were getting distracted / racist about that. So he doesn't do face cam for the, too much. Like, I just want it to be about the games. So yeah. Plus, it saves a lot of time, and let's face it, I am not a very efficient, organized streamer. If I had to like do presentation things, like make myself look presentable for a face cam, live streams would just get later and later, and it would just be more work. My channel is very much focused and built around not doing a lot of work, trying to just make content and cover games. So every second that is built around trying to be presentable in front of a camera is a second that's taken away from actually making video game coverage, which I'm always struggling to make video game coverage. Yeah. Also, I want to protect my privacy. Also, I don't want people to realize that sometimes in the post-show I just literally leave. There have been times where I've started games and totally run to the bathroom, and just maybe people recognize that I'm not moving the mouse and just letting the game sit there. Maybe some people won't. It's crazy that I kind of need to do that because YouTube loves live streams to go as long as possible regardless of the quality, but it is the case. So yeah, that's that. Lemon Lover said, good point, would lead to focusing more or away from games. Lemon Lover, I found out recently, Rydo, he's not African American. Crazy, I know. What? Video Game Donkey isn't? I could have sworn he was. Lemon Lover says right. Interesting. Well, there is also a point. Like, when I look at all my subscriptions on YouTube, there is a lot of a lot of white faces. And I don't want to go all SJW in this, but like there's not a lot of African American content that I watch, and I don't know if that's because they don't make the content, or if that's because it just doesn't get watched by other people, therefore it doesn't get suggested. I know certainly YouTube is trying to promote them more, probably in an unfair and crazy way, as YouTube does everything. But like, I would like to get more diverse opinions from actual gamers, always. Let's see. Lemon Lover says a lot of people think he is. If you search H3 podcast video game dunking, he's on that, and they even speak about how everyone assumes that. I could have sworn he said that. All right, I'll need to do some research and homework. There was there's this British guy who was on The Escapist before The Escapist fell down, and he has all these artsy cutouts, and he doesn't do face cam too. And I like his work, but he doesn't make enough coverage to cover games. I kind of also am following that. Look at Jim Sterling. Jim Sterling's a great example too. It's like Jim Sterling's always in front of the face cam, and he has just gotten less and less about video games, to the point where now he's 50% about talking about other things he's obsessed with, whether it's wrestling or Bogglins or something else. Like his YouTube channel is all about him now, and not really about video games. He only rarely speaks about video games in the instance of like yelling at Steam asset flips, which he's not even doing too much of that, and yelling at loot boxes. Next game we have on Steam, and like I'm making too much progress on Hearthstone, which is not a bad thing, but not enough progress on games. Let's see. We have a visual novel, free to play, called Fare Thee Well. Positive 100% of 14 reviews. Again, the animation for this one seems like a year or two below what I would expect a college graduate artist to have. Like, I really do dismiss some art styles as just being immature, poor artists, and that's true. This has an all-time peak of 8 people, but it's free to play, so you can't really beat that. No negative reviews, and so unless there was some kind of microtransactions in this, you could play fairly well. It looks like, if I was to say, this game is not your standard anime romance thing. It's definitely a Western anime. They're doing a Western story. Looks like some, compared to the anime girls you usually see, some actual adults dating, which eventually, as the video game generation ages, unless they get replaced by new players, which they probably will, there is going to be a lot of games that felt good to play when you were 15 or 16 that feel creepy to play, particularly visual novels. Visual novels are going to feel real creepy if you try and go back and play them when you're 55 years old, and you're looking at anime girls that looked like they were 12 to begin with. But I can't complain about free to play, so there's really nothing else to say about that. Next game we have is just called RAFA. You can always tell a bad game when it has an initial. That means nothing. It's $9.99. And what is it? It's an asset flip of some kind of survival game on some kind of space planet. Spaceman on a planet. Just a bunch of flipped assets. Let's see. So we see that it's bad. There's no reviews. Let's just move on. I don't need to talk about games that have almost zero chance of ever getting mentioned or covered. Yeah. I do want more recommendations for video game content creators. I'm mostly balancing out a lot of my video game coverage YouTube with other kinds of YouTube. A lot of movie reviews. I like to listen to movie reviews. There's this whole hashtag change the channel against Channel Awesome right now, which I think in a lot of ways I probably already changed the channel on Channel Awesome about 6 months ago. It seems like there's a lot of poor management and a bad workplace environment going on Channel Awesome for all the content creators that want the nostalgia critic Doug Walker. And he was, while not the actual CEO of the corporation, basically running the place and using other people's work to promote himself. That's one of the things about so many people talk about you should collab with people that are slightly bigger than you. And I'm like, well, if I tried to collab with people that are slightly bigger than me, they're going to maybe make one video and then be upset with me that I didn't get them any new viewers, or they're going to help me a lot more than I help them, and then they're going to be upset with that. And collabing for covering video games only works on like multiplayer games, and there's a lot of scheduling issues. It's just something I don't see myself really doing. If I was gonna do it, I would do something like Angry Joe, which also is Channel Awesome. I would have friends in the same room to play multiplayer games at the same time, which that would just be a lot of extra work. There's really not a lot you can do with my YouTube channel because it's just so small. It's such a failed channel by every metric. It really is. It just doesn't have enough subscribers. It doesn't have any income at all. So hiring somebody, getting anybody to do anything whatsoever is crazy. I'm certainly not in the point where I'm like in college where I could get other people to do things for free just because they were bored. Angry Joe is a show that, I mean, Angry Joe really took that sabbatical, and I never really could get into his series anyways. Like, but he's such a cliche. He's doing everything to be this character, always wearing the same clothes, like always trying to be angry about everything. It's like it's not real, and that's the previous generation of YouTube, is when you play a character. Current generation of YouTube, you be yourself, or you at least play a character that seems like you're being yourself. So yeah, I don't want a lot of people just putting on characters and affectations. I want real video game people. Ideally, I want to follow other YouTubers that have less than 100,000 subscribers too. Like, I'm tired of propping up these giant YouTube channels that they don't care if they get one more view, and they're not going to do anything, and they're usually halfway to being burnt out as creators anyway. So they're not doing as good of work as they used to. Next game we have is called Tubular Rift. It came out the 6th, no reviews. It's $9.99. I have no idea why people choose that. I think probably Steam Direct needs a limiter on what you can set the price as. But that might get Valve in trouble for like monopoly problems. Like, but there's a lot of people putting games out for $9. This looks like a attempt, and if this was a student project, it looks like almost a good student project attempt at creating something close to a game like one of the old Nintendo 64 racing games. Maybe a little bit like the pod racing game, which wasn't too bad. It has a one-time peak of 1 person. It's early access, and of course no reviews. Yeah, I can't recommend Tubular Rift as a game, though. It just looks bad. And like I said before, I need to just start, if a game looks bad, saying it looks bad, moving on. Next game we have is called Mervyn and the Wicked Station. It's the 4th game or 3rd game from this developer, 25% off and $2.99. It's like 2 monkeys in space suits is the logo, but the actual trailer is, you know, a college level project of a game that looks like Commander Keen as far as a platformer. It's just not anywhere close to what modern games should look like. It's ridiculous. This art style is never going to come back. No matter what you do. And the gameplay style is not going to come back either, because Commander Keen, while I may have some slight nostalgia for it, a very, very slight nostalgia for it. I need to play warrior cards this time. The truth is, it's a bad game. It controls badly. It doesn't work. You don't have tight controls. Your floaty jumps. Alright, so we're going to make a warrior deck. Just fill it with warrior cards. And I really wish there was an easier way to do this. Like, but there really isn't. Even if I copy and pasted a deck, built a deck like this and just copy and pasted it, I don't think that would be any faster. Keep on playing. There we go. Let's see. Yeah. $2.99. No reviews. I say skip Mervyn and the Wicked Station. I don't hate the concept of a monkey in a spacesuit looking for his female monkey companion. In fact, I kind of am rather tickled by the concept of a female anthropomorphized monkey, because I guess I just haven't seen that before. But it's, man, it just looks like an old game. It looks like a 1990s game. Moving on, we have a Destructoid article, which I don't watch Destructoid, so I don't know how I got this article. It's, quote, "The Messenger is the Ninja Gaiden successor we deserve." Anytime you say you deserve something, you probably don't. Let's see what this is. Well, this looks like an NES game, but unlike that, the previous game, with the monkeys that look like Commander King, at least they're making a sequel to Ninja Gaiden, which is, or a spiritual sequel to Ninja Gaiden, which would be a beloved and known title. See, The Messenger is coming to Switch and PC sometimes in 2018. I think if you play nostalgia, or do a nostalgia play on a game that is very, very much beloved and well known, I think at that point you might be able to cheat past the criticism that I've been making. Maybe not. Maybe we'll find very much that when we get more information about the Messenger, and we have I see people that played Ninja Gaiden on the NES and compare it to that, and they say, oh, it doesn't play anything like that, or I'd prefer just to play Ninja Gaiden, which maybe that is the case. Like, I recently played Striker, a remake of a game called Striker, and I had really no idea that there was a old game called Striker, and the new game was sort of alright. It had some problems, but wasn't terrible. PC Gamer has an article, The Forest will leave behind 4 years of early access on April 30th, which is really just telling you that you shouldn't buy the Forest. The price is also going to go up from $14.99 to $19.99 when it comes out of early access. The concept of landing in a forest and being attacked by crazy native monster-like creatures is a good one, but the concept of playing a survival game when on an island while also being attacked by native creatures was really just an attempt to do Minecraft all over again. And Minecraft really was just a lightning in a bottle, and its cutesiness let it be sold to a lot of kids, whereas The Forest is not going to be sold to a lot of kids. Let's see if I can even hit their Steam page. Let's see if I'm trying to even get to the Forest Steam page, and I can't from PC Gamer because every link tells you to some other piece of junk, worthless bit of information. And there's no linking back, so maybe I have to Google it. The Forest on Steam. There we go. Play this. Attack here. Attack here. In the turn. So The Forest on Steam. 91% of 1,544 users rated it positive. So it's rated very positive. People do like it. But I kind of wonder if its day in the sun is already up. I would probably rather play The Forest over playing Rust or playing Conan Exiles. This was certainly a game that was made popular by streamers for a couple of months. But I don't know if there's a real story or single player experience. So the one thing that would get my attention is 1.0 going to put in some kind of story or something? Let's see, hit this. And hit this. And do this. And then attack there. Let's see. So there was a review that's not recommended for the Forest after 22.9 hours on record. Still the same. This was posted March 26. Still the same after 4 years. Even DayZ made more progress. Not a bad game, but after you played it until the end of the story and build everything you can, it just gets boring. Like, next negative review, not recommended reviews. I liked this game. It was fun at first. Then shortly, I suppose is what it's supposed to say, after the game became dry, it felt like I had already seen all the game had. Fun with friends for the first few hours, then it just gets boring and repetitive. So, like, 3 negative criticisms for the Forest is that it gets boring and repetitive, which I could also certainly say for Minecraft is also the case. Like, it is pretty boring and repetitive. Let's just do this, and just do this, and in the turn. And in line with the Forest coming out of early access, there's a completely different company releasing a game called The Secrets of the Forest, which I don't know if this is good name branding or what. It's 15% off for $9.34, and let's see, its publisher and developer are different, yet it's the first game on Steam for both of them. It's tagged as an early access action adventure game. What is it really though? I'm seeing a lot of black screens, a lot of what looks like a walking simulator. And see, these walking simulators in a lot of ways can be just asset flips, and it doesn't even have to look bad. You're apparently walking around an empty city trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, it's a Unity game. It's got guns for a second there. It's got driving cars. This really is just a asset flip. Like, you kind of have to assume it is. You have to assume all games are asset flips before proven otherwise. Like, every single screenshot is just trees and ground and forest, which would sort of make sense for the Secrets of the Forest, but if you're gonna make a good game called The Secrets of the Forest, you can't just show pictures of the forest. You have to have a character, you have to have something in the forest, even if it's just like wolves or something interesting. Yeah, 15% off, $9.34, and it's just an asset flip. It really is. Moving on to the next game. So I keep running into opening the same game more than once, which is turning this into an interesting, less things to talk about than I thought I had. I must have really slept, because every single game I've talked about I opened twice. Let's see. Don't need to talk about that. Man, that same game 3 times now. PC Gamer has an article. World of Warcraft's new island expeditions. Let's see. This. And then this. And this. And then the turn. World of Warcraft's new island expeditions are a refreshing alternative to dungeon grinding BS. A mix of player versus player versus enemy, or what does PvE mean? I don't even know. Is that player versus everyone, or is that player versus event or enemy? Let's see. Draw a card. And then do this. And do this. Then end of turn. So World of Warcraft is still trying to keep people playing, which I guess they're doing a decent enough job of that. And anything we see new in World of Warcraft, I guess, will eventually come to Hearthstone. So there will be some kind of island expedition idea translated to Hearthstone. Let's see. Do this, and then do this. So yeah, if you're interested in World of Warcraft and their new expansion, I'm sure you can find more information about that. PC Gamer has an article, the 8 ugliest PC gaming cases we've ever seen. And let me see if any of these really have any reason that they need to be mentioned. Okay, I will say these are very artistic and very different types of computer cases, but they are hardly too divergent from a regular box that you get for a PC case. And see, PC Gamer in particular puts these images with their tweets, and this article specifically had an image of an all wooden computer case. And the only reason I clicked on this article, they clickbaited me, was because I wanted to see them talk about and show an all wood computer case and talk about how bad for airflow and how bad for cooling that would be. And that's not even one of the options. It's like, it's just showing like the NZXT Guardian is one of them, the Thermaltake level 10. Like these are crazy looking, slightly artistic cases. The Deep Cool Steam Castle looks like a case I'd consider buying. There's nothing too strange about these cases. They're just done in a way so that they look different in a very flooded field of computer cases. Let's see. This is interesting. Somebody tweeted out a Fig game called Jengo, Jengo, and it's, well, it says, "Welcome to Backstage Pass for Jengo by Robot Wizard. We want to show you what we're working on so you can get some feedback about our campaign, videos about rewards, goals, and all that, and make some tweaks before the public launch. For this to work, we need you to keep things quiet before the big day." And see, I assume that this is just BS because somebody tweeted out this link. That's the only way I even have this. In exchange for your feedback and discussion, we have some exclusive pledge levels available to you during the Backstage Pass. Note that everything here is still in draft state and subject to change before the launch. Projects in Backstage Pass are confidential. Please keep quiet about these details of the campaign until the campaign launches, or you'll hear otherwise from us. And then it says, click this button that says I can keep a secret. That's not how news works. I am in no way agreeing to anything. I can keep a secret. I'm not going to. And this is just BS. It totally is. So I click that button and it takes me to what looks like a Fig campaign place that has $28,960 of a $140,000 goal, 20% of its goal. There's a trailer here. Like, the idea that you would tweet out a link to something like this, or you'd have something on the internet without a code or something is ridiculous. Like, I don't think of Django, Jengo, is a good name. It sounds too much like jingoistic, and that doesn't seem particularly what this is. This looks like it's a similar to Full Throttle point-and-click adventure game, so some of the later ones without all the action boxes. The animation looks to be a certain style that looks a little bit bad, but I think it's intentionally just drawn badly. Like, skill behind being drawn badly versus so many things just being done badly and then claimed to be an artistic style. Yeah, I might be interested in a point-and-click adventure when this game comes out, but I'm certainly not going to fund it. There is one Kickstarter out there, not a fig, but a Kickstarter that is sort of catching my attention, and that is the now available Myst 25-year edition thing. Special backer reward things that I haven't quite looked at yet, so it's one of my tabs that's still open. There's a ton of tabs still open. But let's see. Can we do this? And then this. And then this. Yeah, so I'll be talking about the Myst Kickstarter and looking at it more detail. I'd really like to fund this and get like a physical edition of all those games, but I am so against the idea of Kickstartering even the game from Cyan, even re-releases of old games from Cyan, and just putting in my credit card to Kickstarter, that I think I'll just be happy to get the digital editions when it comes out and be done with it. According to PC Gamer, you can already run mods on Skyrim VR, so interesting, I suppose. I mean, I imagine it's not very different from how all the other mods get run on Skyrim. Maybe just a slight change. Don't need to talk about that. Don't need to really talk about a retrospective game of a BBC Micro classic game called Exile. Like, that's just not any real information. Do this, and then this, and then this. State of Decay 2, let's see, is according to this Rock Paper Shotgun article, is coming out when? It releases on May 22nd. It's part of the Xbox Play Anywhere system and also Xbox Game Pass. Like Sea of Thieves before it, the barrier to entry is $30 and the devs promise no microtransactions. So, like, I didn't play State of Decay 1, so I probably wouldn't want to play State of Decay 2. I'm still trying to play Dying Light, so, like, playing any game that looks anything like a zombie game in an open world, it has to compete against why haven't I gotten around to playing Dying Light yet? And then, if anything, I bought Zombie, ZOMBI, which, like, I should play that too. So PC Gamers talking about this game called Scum, SCUM. I think they've talked about it a little bit too much and they're more advertising it. It has ridiculous survival meters, including vitamins, muscle mass, and even a tooth counter. Let's see if there's actually any information, though, in this article as far as a release date. Let's see. It says, I don't know exactly, the article says, I don't know exactly what Scum will look like when it releases in early access sometime in the next few months. So, like, why are you even talking about a game? You don't even know when the early access release date is. Like, honestly, they're taking interviews with people when they have nothing to say. It's like, I suppose if I was running my channel with multiple people and I was getting press releases from video game people, I would tell them, look, you need to give me a breakdown of what will be discussed in writing before we will accept any meetings with you, because I'm not going to go see your game in pre-alpha stage and write an article about it because I wasted time to go see your game in pre-alpha stage when more than likely I'm going to have nothing to say whatsoever. PC Gamer, in its continuing instance of at least once a week talking about some esports player doing something bad, the Overwatch League player Dream Casper has been released by Boston Uprising following allegations. I think this probably, the fact that there are stories like this shows that there's problems somewhere. Like, what is expected of the esports people and what esports people really expect from themselves seems to be very divergent, and it seems like a lot of people that want to make money off esports players are more sensitive to the bad behavior of these quote-unquote bros that most esports players are. Whereas if you look in the United States at like professional football and professional sports in general, a lot of those players do have commit some bad actions and bad attitudes and say bad things, and it gets barely reported or just ignored. So let's see. The player is indefinitely suspended while the matter is investigated. Was the original thing. Now, the thing about this article originally was that following allegations that arose on Twitter earlier today. Earlier today, the Overwatch League team was made aware of the allegations against Jonathan Dream Casper Sanchez. He is suspended indefinitely. We take all allegations of this nature very seriously, and the result, he's been suspended. I don't know what the allegations are. That's the problem, is apparently we're in a world now where you can just make allegations and they won't even get reported as what the allegations are. Did he murder some babies? Did he strangle some puppies? Did he awkwardly hit on somebody? Is he a murderer? Let's see. The allegations mentioned in the statement of the post, backed up by currently unverified screenshots that say Sanchez engaged in extensive conversations, some of a sexual nature, with a reportedly 14-year-old fan who says she made Sanchez aware of her age early in the relationship. Sanchez was 21 years old. Okay. He's a creep. Sanchez is a star DPS player for the Boston. I don't even know what DPS is. I guess that's Overwatch something for the Boston Uprising, which currently has a 14-18 record and sits in 4th place on the overall Overwatch League standings. The situation is currently under investigation by Boston Uprising and the Overwatch leagues, but apparently not the police. Seems like this would be a police matter. Ridiculous. Ridiculous how it's not being handled right. Ridiculous how many creeps there are out there, or potential creeps, or people who can be called creeps and everybody will believe them. Just a lot of craziness all over the world. Not fun. Not having a real bad experience with Hearthstone today. That's good. We got really lucky in the Asian and European accounts where we just need to play certain kinds of cards. So in the next recording, we'll play some more warrior cards. We'll get through the news, hopefully, and then we'll just be done. Stay tuned if you're watching live. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description. If you want to support me even further, gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Monday, April 9th. We're having a relaxed experience for the most part. Going through a decent amount of news. It seems like we're always going to have a decent amount of news. And we're just having to play cards. So I play Warriors cards here. Since I got a Watch and Learn for the Americas account, it's probably not even going to be that much gameplay needed for that account at all, so I may very well have extra news and nothing to play, which will be interesting. I guess we could play a little bit of ranked play on my main account, see if we can get up. Lots of games on Steam. We have another one of these VR fake girlfriend games called VR Kanojo, K-A-N-O-J-O, of some general Asian country, I assume, because it certainly is an Asian girl. Summer Lesson was the game that really brought in these as concepts, and certainly has quickly expanded. Okay, so it's tagged with sexual content and nudity, and it seems like most of it you're just in VR and you're wow, that the girl just stood up from a chair while turning around and her bosoms bounced like crazy. The physics are completely off. So it's not even a high quality version of this. Anyways, it's $50, $49.99 to play this game, which probably is less than an hour long. They're like trying to tell you how to change the language, because I imagine it's in Japanese at first. There's 79 positive reviews. Let's look at the negative one. Let's see. Not recommended. It says it has the best setting for graphics than anything else than any other VR game I've tried so far. It costs too much though. 9.5 out of 10 would refund. Entire game is you're some weirdo in some girl's room which can't understand anything she's saying because she's Japanese, but there are glowing blue areas on her you can touch, and it makes the voice control vibrate as if you're touching her. Let's go ahead and play this. As if you're touching her in real life. This would have been a positive if it wasn't for the insane price. Let's see. Next negative review. It is not worth anything. Should be free. Don't even if you can refund. It is horrid. You can't do anything worth the money. Could have just bought a stripper for the cash. And yeah, these are, I believe, going to be the next generation of asset flips on Steam. As we'll see these VR games or fake VR games that can be played without VR that have just one character model to be your waifu, your love, fake wife, and it's gonna have probably asset flipped animations, probably asset flipped actions, probably asset flipped mouth movements and story, and maybe even audio. Like anything they can asset flip, they will asset flip, and anything they can't asset flip, you will see more of it. And then they'll throw in a bit of nudity and sexual suggestive content for a good measure, and then they'll jack up the price to $50 because it will be VR. It'll feel a little unique for about a year until people realize that not to do that, not to fall for it. And it seems like there's a lot of different people on Steam doing the same thing. Yeah, so it's not just one company. Let's see. Summer Games Done Quick announces its speedrun lineup. Let's see if we can kind of look at it. There's some controversy around Summer Games Done Quick, mostly that the money goes to, I think, a non-profit, but then the non-profit pays the people that run the Summer Games Done Quick, so they're kind of funneling and smuggling money. The runners of Summer Games Done Quick are alienating all the speedrunners, and they literally just don't want to deal with them, and they're kicking out a lot of speedrunners. So speedruns have gotten worse and worse into dry general explanations of what they're doing and nothing else, which they used to be a lot more fun. That being said, to give them some credit, the Games Done Quick, whether it's Awesome Games Done Quick or Summer Games Done Quick, which is the same company, seems to raise more money every year than most other charities completely. But they are getting worse and worse. Also, I would say that the speedruns aren't getting that unique either. They're struggling to find any kind of new game to play. They're struggling to find a reason to yet again do a speedrun for the Metroid Prime game, Ocarina of Time, things like that. Things that happen every year and are just slightly interesting the first time, but not that much. And this article from PC Gamer is so bad. Because it's just a link to their website to actually see the list. So here we can, let's see, we can go through this, but when do these episodes, when these air, if you're going to watch them live? I guess you just can't watch them live, or you just have to start at the beginning. So there's going to be 2 people playing ahead of time. One person playing a game called Amy, and then one person playing Animaniacs, and one playing Artie Lightfoot, and then a story about my uncle. These are in alphabetical order. So, like, the schedule is not getting any information here. Artie Lightfoot for the Super NES, Amy is for the PlayStation 3, Animaniacs for Super NES. A story about my uncle, Axiom Verge, Bangai Oi for the Sega Dreamcast, Banjo-Tooie, Batman Returns for the Super NES, Battletoads and Double Dragon for the Super NES. 2 people are playing that, so probably when there's 2 people playing it, it's going to be co-op. This is a bad Excel sheet merged together. Bio Miracle Boku Upa for the Famicom. Bionic Commander, Bonk's Revenge. Let's switch over. Like, I guess if I have more news, I could come back and play some of these other quests. But let's switch over to the Americas account first and deal with that. Bonk's Revenge, Borderlands the pre-sequel, Bound. It's a little surprising that they would give you 2.5 hours of Borderlands the pre-sequel in co-op. Bound, Castlevania Bloodlines, Castlevania Circle of the Moon, Castlevania 3, Castlevania NES, Catherine, Celeste, Club Drive, Contra Shattered Soldier by 3 different people. It seems like they might be doing something different there. Hey, so I need to do both of these. Let's trade this one out. Win 5 games with the Hunter and Mage and destroy 40 minions. So I've really got to win. And while we're at it, I've got a lot of card packs to open. Cool Spot, Crash Bandicoot, Cuphead, Dark Souls, Dead Core, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which might be an interesting speedrun, but I haven't played Mankind Divided, so it would also be full of speedrun spoilers. I do want to play Mankind Divided eventually. I would not be surprised if none of these card packs give me anything higher than a rare. Yeah, we may have like 30 card packs here that are just gonna get turned to dust. Why do I have so many card packs, I wonder? I may have had somebody watch and learn on me and give me a card pack too. Right. So, how many of those can be dusted? 24. And only 1 card in all of that was new. Which kind of tells you it's not worth it anymore for my main account to open any card packs the way things are going. See, missing. See if we can kind of confirm this. If we just look at missing and go to like Nixaramus, you're not missing anything. Goblins versus Gnomes, we'll just switch over to the last page. A lot of Goblins versus Gnomes cards I could get, certainly. Nothing is missing from Blackrock Mountain. A lot of Grand Tournament cards I could get. Nothing from League of Explorers, and some of that's just because it's the old expansions. A lot is missing from Old Gods, or about 10 pages. Nothing from Karazhan. About 10 pages of Gadgets in. It's like... So, yeah, a lot of these, I think I would probably end up making a crazy effort to open 100 to 150 card packs in these new expansions to try to just narrow down the cards. And I don't think I'd ever be able to do that or afford that. On the other hand, if I save up and maybe just get all of the classic cards that, like, this is the one I want to get, this pirate. If I got all of the classic cards done and then started opening card packs here maybe I'd get some classic legendaries that would turn into dust, and then we could use them to use dust to get other things. Maybe that would work. Alright, we got secrets and spells and beast 3 attack and all kinds of victories, or theoretical victory conditions. We're playing at a ridiculous rank. Like this mid-range hunter, I believe, is the best deck that HSReplay.net says we have. So that's it. We got somebody new on the chat saying hello, hello, shooter, whatever. I don't know how you'd pronounce that last name. So hello, the shooter. So what other games are they going to cover? Disgaea 5 for the summer games done quick. Divinity Original Sin 2. Doko Dawn 2 for the NES. Doom, the 2016 version. I'm going to have to actually play. Double Dragon 2. Double Dragon Warrior. Dungeon Magic. Dust Force DX for PCs. Let's see, El Vento for Sega Genesis. Haven't heard of that. Enter the Gungeon. Fear, F.E.A.R. Final Fantasy VI. Freeze Me. Gauntlet Legends. I'd be interested in watching a Gauntlet Legends speedrun. Ghosts and Goblins. Getting Over It with Bennett Fodley. Gimmick Golden Axe. Goof Troop. For the Super NES, Gunstar Superheroes, Hagane, The Final Conflict, Half-Life, Halo 2, High Hell, Hob, I Am Bread, Iconoclast, Jungle King, Tar-Chan, World Tour Rumble? What is that? It's for the SFC. King Chameleon. Let's play this. And do this. And then the turn. Kid Cool. Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Remix. Kirby Adventures. Kirby Dreamland. Kirby Superstar Ultra. The Legend of K Anniversary. Don't know what that is. Something just called Live, which is Live. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Master Spy, which I believe that might be a new game. Mega Man 7. Mega Man 8. Mega Man 9, Mega Man X2, Mega Man 04, Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes, Metroid Samus Returns, Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Zero Mission played by like 4 different people, Minor Ultimate Adventure, Monolith, New Super Mario Brothers, Ninja Gaiden Black, Pac-Man 2 The New Adventures. I think that's an interesting game, actually. It's because it's not like Pac-Man at all. Pack and Roll Remix, Paper Mario, Penumbra Overture, Pepsi Man, never heard of that one. Pet the Pup at the Party, Pikeman 3, Pizza Pop. Some of these games may very well get bumped. Pokemon Yellow and Red, Prey, although I don't think that generally happens too much. They more get canceled because of other reasons, like the game just doesn't run. Prey 2017, Prince of Persia, Warrior Within, Ratchet Deadlocked, Red Knuck Rampage, Resident Evil 4 on PC. How do they get Resident Evil 4 to run on their PCs? I don't know. Resident Evil HD Remaster, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Rocket Knight Adventures, Rockman No Constancy, Roundabout Runbow for the Wii U, Shadow Warrior Classic Redux, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, Silver Grapple, Soft Body, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Let's see. This. And this. And that. And that. Sonic Spinball, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sparkster, Spider-Man and Venom's Maximum Carnage, Spider-Man Web of Fire, Splatterhouse 2, Splatterhouse TG16, TurboGrafx 16, I guess. Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, Spyro the Dragon. There'll be some interest in playing Spyro again now that they've announced a new Spyro game. Let's see. 3 attack. And this. And do this. And that. And then that. And that. And that. Let's see. Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. Star Wars Jedi Knight Mysteries of the Sith. Stilt Fella. Never heard of that for the PC. Streets of Rage. Strider for the NES. Strider for the NES again. Sublevel Zero Redux. Super Mario 3D Land. Super Mario 64. Super Mario Brothers for the NES. Super Mario Brothers 3. Super Mario Maker for the Wii U. Super Mario World for the Super NES. Super Metroid. Super Monkey Ball. Let's see. Adapt this with Wind Fury. And then give this with that. No! I totally screwed that up. Let's see. Super Monkey Ball 2, Super Smash TV, Super Star Wars, Sylvan Tale, TASBot plays Celeste, TASBot plays F-Zero. If you don't know what TASBot is, it's a tool assisted speedrun program. TASBot plays Super Metroid, The Legend of Zelda. The TASBot runs will be interesting, certainly. Legend of Zelda for NES, and Legend of Zelda Four Swords, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker HD. So no less than 5 Legend of Zelda games are going to be done during this marathon of speedruns. Arguably, I would wonder if instead of just doing a marathon, they'd probably make less money if they didn't make it a marathon, because that's a tried and true way of doing things. But I wonder if they wouldn't make better content as a YouTube content creator, if that's what they wanted to be, if they simply just had one speedrun airing every day instead of what they do now, which is they put up some very poorly cut up edited versions on their YouTube channels after the event has happened, and it doesn't really do anything for anybody. Simpsons Hit and Run, Thief the Dark Project, Titan Souls. I think that might have been the game that I was talking about a few days ago, where you get a bow and arrow and have 1 life. Yeah, I do believe that is Titan Souls. I was trying to remember the name of it and couldn't remember. Tomb Raider 1, which that'll be interesting, I suppose, to watch. Undertale, Wacky Races, Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos, Wave Race Blue Storm for the Nintendo Wii, which I've never heard of that sequel. Wiz and Liz, The Frantic Wabbit Rescue for Sega Genesis. Xeno Drifter, and Yonoid 2. Now, the problem with this is you don't know when any of this is going to air, so you now know that somewhere in this 150 hours and 12 minutes estimated runtime, that's how long they expect this to go. You'll be able to see some of these games that might interest you, but that's kind of it. See, we don't need to do that. PC Gamer has an article called A Hitchhiking Adventure in GTA 5 Online. Like, in the same way the PC Gamer talks about somebody in trouble in the esports field at least once a week, they seem to write an article about GTA Online. And then they really are just pandering completely. Did this get us views once? If it did, let's just do it again. So that's not really an article to talk about. Let's see. They also have the article 5 new Steam games you probably missed this week, which would be the better system in my opinion if you are just trying to like, if you're absolutely just trying to see the best games and not the worst that come on Steam, letting them do the censoring and filtering so that you only see 5 games that came out in a week is probably the better thing. So what do they have? They have Techno-Rhythm, which we already talked about, which I think Five Finger Death Punch is still a better game, and it's a lot cheaper. They have a game called Infernium. Let's watch the trailer on this, which apparently is either a game I talked about and have forgotten that I talked about it, or it's a game I didn't talk about. It came out April 3rd, so I'm just going to open that Steam page right now and see. They have a game called PWND. Did I talk about this game either? Jeez, how can so many games have come out that I missed when I'm looking theoretically at every single game? Let's do this and this, and we can do 4 damage if we do that, and then that, and then that, and then the turn. So either I haven't talked about this game. The next one is called The Day Online. May have talked about this game. This game came out April 4th. Minute, of course. Minute is a game that's caught my attention. But it's still a little concerning, and the reason I wanted to look at this article was to see if I'm missing games, and it feels like Infernium, being an example there, is the one that I missed. So let's look at it. Adjacent minions have +1 damage. Let's see. So Infernium is 83% positive with 12 reviews. It's from a developer that has made one other game, or kind of a bundle that has 2 other games. It's from the creator, I guess, Mind the Path to Thalamus Enhanced Edition, which is rated mostly negative, even though it is a game I would like to play. And a game called Annie Amber, which is mixed, so it's not like he's making a lot of great games. Let's look at the reviews. It's only 2 negative reviews, and neither one are in English. Oh man, I screwed up there. This with this Let's see. This, that, that, here, there, and there. I have no idea what this game is. It says it's an adventure, indie, survival horror game. It seems like you kind of are floating over places and wandering around. Probably doing a little bit of walking simulator, but kind of doing maybe a little bit more like a Myst-like game, which might be problematic. It seems like there are some people that chase you and you have to run away from them. So yeah, I'm gonna put Infernium in my wish list. Try that one out. Let's see. Pond is a free-to-play game. That's really all I need to say about it. It's mostly positive, 73%. It's labeled as an action free-to-play first-person shooter, and it looks a lot like Quake, with maybe some more cartoony animation, like an Overwatch for people that don't want to buy Overwatch but really should play and buy Overwatch. Like it maybe like a Team Fortress, but yeah, I don't know why you'd want to play PWND Pond over, which is a clone of something. Like, there's a negative review here. I love the movement, but literally everything else needs to work. So I'll be checking later. Yeah, well, as a multiplayer game, I wouldn't play this. The Day Online is mixed with 56% of 274 users, and it seems more like... Again, it feels like Overwatch, but it's multiplayer only, it's early access, it's free to play. Let's see if we can get some negative reviews to get some more critical opinions on it. First 2 minutes of playing and the game already crashed. Good start. This must be the most non-strategical MOBA I've ever seen. Let's see. With the recent patch and the removal of all the secondary skills, the game just became totally useless to play. It's rough, but hey, it's free, and there's fan service. Is this tagged with any kind of sexual content? Not as far as I see. The Day Online has potential. The graphics are decent standard. The ranking system is already in the game, and the combat feels satisfying. Unfortunately, it's executed very poorly. There are no items like a traditional MOBA, and compared to other arena games with similar mechanisms, the only customization here is the sub-weapon you choose. So yeah, I don't think there's a reason to play The Day Online. Let's see. Let's keep on playing. We're trying to win and kill minions at the same time. We need to get all the daily quests done on the Americas account today. If you're playing Hearthstone and you're on the Americas account, today is your last day to get packs. So do them all. Next game I have is called JQ:*Chemistry. It came out today. It has no reviews. It's apparently one of many games with JQ, so I wonder if this is just questions. It's a quiz game about chemistry elements. I see. That's what I thought. And I guess it doesn't look terrible. It does kind of look like it might be a cell phone port. or something. No, there's nothing really here, though. It's probably not going to have any significant number of questions. 70 plus levels, 3 levels of dedication. Let's see. Yeah. And they want 59 cents for a chemistry question that has 510 achievements, which is far too many. So it's probably more about the achievements than anything else. So now it's time to come to the painful to my wallet element. I am at the Kickstarter page for the Myst 25th Anniversary Collection, a limited time, limited run opportunity to get exclusively packaged collections of all the Myst games only through Kickstarter. It has $253,316 from 1,261 backers and 44 days to go. Not a surprise. They're really just kind of doing a limited run. Including myself, there are a lot of fans of Myst out there. It's still a niche, certainly, of the video game industry, but they exist. And so this trailer is showing all of the Myst games and some footage of them. So let me zoom the page up and so we can get some actual details. To celebrate the 20th anniversary, like, seriously, these games will be available later, but the special packaging and artifacts will not be sold again. Let's see. You get all 7 Myst games together for the first time. Can they list all of these? That would be Myst, the Masterpiece Edition, I suppose. Riven, the sequel to Myst. Myst 3 Exiles. Myst 4 Revelations. Myst 5 End of Ages. Myst Uru, the Complete Chronicles. And Real Myst... which is just Myst again, but slightly different, so I could see a reason why you would do that. I also need to play the game. With the help of our friends at Good Old Games, the games have been upgraded to run on Windows 10. The Kickstarter will provide the entire collection in a special exclusive package, but the updated versions of the games will also make their way to digital download services, starting with Good Old Games as automatic updates. So the special artifacts only on Kickstarter. We've joined forces with Idea Planet, a unique group of talented folks, to make realistic video game artifacts that, wow, chances are you've never seen. You've seen or have some of their really cool collector's editions. So you get the linking book. The core to the collector's edition will be a Myst linking book. The bookmaker tier book will have a die-cut window through which you can see art from the game's DVD sleeves. So it's going to look like a book, but it's really going to be a box with the game's DVD sleeves poking through the window. At the maintainer tier and above, the book will include an active 800 by 480 digital screen with a video flying through the games. The book will be 7 inches by 9 inches by 2.5 inches. The window cut will be 5 inches by 2.7 inches. I mean, they're giving some real exact dimensions there. The next thing you'll get is Gin's pen and inkwell from Riven, I believe, and like, I don't think too many people really even care about that. Like, I just played Riven and I don't care about that. Honestly, I would only really care about the Myst book. And I'm not sure I want to fund a Kickstarter game just to get that. I am much more excited than just getting Myst 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in new versions. You'll get some original design sketches from Riven if you get to the collector tier, which, I mean, if they're originals, then you'll have one of everything. So they're basically getting rid of some of their old history. So that's like the three things: is the Inkwell, the Mist book, and original design sketches. Award to Mac users. Mist started out as a Mac first title, and over the years, Sign has always released each of the games for a Mac. But for various reasons, maintaining some of those Mac titles now means rebuilding them from scratch. An option that, as a small indie studio, takes time and our resources we just don't have. And for games that were produced by other studios, even that option may not be possible. Although most games in the Anniversary Collection are not compatible with Mac OS, Sign would continue to work to update and rebuild some of the Mac titles and explore other options to try to make more of the games playable on the Mac in the future. Which, that's an interesting thing to say, because Apple recently is giving some indication that they're going to try and get away from Intel processors, to the point where it's very possible that the current PC compatible software that runs on a modern Apple computer won't run at all, and everything will have to be updated yet again. And in the old days, like the Apple II computer, they didn't run on Intel processors either, or a standard 386 type processor. So even if they did try to support Apple may make that very difficult. The next paragraph on this Kickstarter: why is $247,500 the target amount? To deliver a high quality Mist Collector's Edition at a reasonable price, we have a minimum number of orders. Based on the quotes from the design, tooling, manufacturing, we've calculated we need at least 25,000 orders at the $99 tier or above. So 25,000 times 99 equals that much. So if you get the reward tier of Archivist for $49, you get to download all the games. If you get the Bookmaker, you get the DVD and the download for $99. If you get the Maintainer, you get for $169 tier, you get the download, the DVD, and the screen in the Bookmaker. If you get the Rydo tier for $250, you get the book with the screen in it, the DVD, the download, and the ink pen, Gen's Inkwell. Again, a very uninteresting item, in my opinion. Let's see. Let's hit this and this. And like for the $1,000 tier, collector tier, you get to download the DVD, the Mist book with the screen, Gen's Inkwell, and the original artwork. Let's see. Shipping and fulfillment, they say, is through Blue Box, I guess. Unfortunately, shipping costings have skyrocketed over 7 years. To help ensure shipping is high quality and low cost as possible, we have partnered with Black Box, is what it's called, who has globally positioned facilities to help minimize fees and VAT. Additionally, we've simplified the rate structure and even subsidized shipping rates in many cases. Please note that shipping costs when you select your pledge level. And then it says, thanks Adam Conover from Adam Ruins Everything, because he's a big Mist fan. So, is there anything else to really take from this Kickstarter other than, like, they may not fund this at all? So, the Mist book I would really like, particularly with the screen. I probably could buy the $99 version, get the Mist book, and put in my own screen if I wanted to pretty easily. Instead of paying another $70 to have somebody else do it. But none of it really is worth anything to me. Like, this is making it a lot easier on me, because I thought they were going to have something very interesting. And oddly, the thing they're missing is the Mist books. There were 3 Mist books that are just not coming as part of this. I guess over here it says Digital Mist Book Extra, USB accessible content. And what do you get? How do you get the digital Mist book? If you pledge, you have to pledge over the $99 tier, so you have to pay the $170 so you have to pay the $170 tier to get the books, and they don't even talk about that. Interesting. And if you pledge $1 or more, you get nothing. So there's a tier to give them $1 for no reason. Hey, look at that. We're up to rank 21. That's nice. Keep on playing. And that's supposed to be estimated delivery of November 2018. So, here's the real question that's not getting answered. If you already own some of these games, are you going to get the updated patched version, or are you just getting left in the dust? I think pretty much you wouldn't own Mist 3, because I don't think Mist 3 ever came to PC, or if it did, it just did not run on Windows 10. I'm not 100% sure Mist 4 or 5 or 4 or 5 either also ran. I barely even remember 4. I honestly thought Uru was 4 until somebody corrected me, because I thought it was somewhat similar, or the same area, or almost the same thing. Yeah, that's way too much money for me to kickstart this game just to get a Mist book, and that's kind of the only thing I want. I want all of these games on Steam. There's no talk whatsoever of these coming to Steam, so these might just be all good old game things, which that would be a mistake and a pain, and it's unlikely, since Valve, Cyan has put other games on Steam, like Abduction. Meanwhile, they also are working on their new game to be the sequel, their next game after Abduction. But then they also oddly added more content to Abduction, and I have a video that I haven't scheduled to go out where I go back to Abduction after playing it in the beta, and it's like, how do you say this? It's new content. It's like totally brand new areas. Things that weren't there are now there, and it seems so crazy that you would release a game like that. It's not super important content. It's not super special, but it's something for a game designed around the idea of constantly wandering around and seeing if there are any secrets, to have large sections of the map just appear out of nowhere implies that there are new secrets, new puzzles. There really aren't. Anyways, PC Gamer has an article that The Witcher 3 mod painstakingly recreates the UI and heads-up display from the E3 2014 demo. I don't see any reason why you'd specifically want that. Like, there have been a few instances, I imagine, of like seeing things in demos and getting overly obsessed with those things. But usually the final product is better than the, let's see, how are we gonna do this? We can give this, and we could do this, and I guess I'll take this and that. Yeah, I don't really see a reason why you'd want to turn it to a different menu. To be fair, Witcher 3's menu is very complicated with a lot of stuff in it, but turning it to an older version of that menu doesn't help anything. Moving on, PC Gamer has a different article. Ex-Grand Theft Auto producer suffers setback in $150 million lawsuit against Rockstar. A pre-agreed royalty plan contains no language mandating equal payments, is the quote. Subtitle. Let's see. So, Leslie Benzie sued his former employer in April 2016. Benzie alleges he was unlawfully dismissed and was entitled to unpaid royalties in excess of $150 million. Now the ex-GTA 5 producer has suffered a setback in the case Take-Two Rockstar and against Take-Two Rockstar and Dan and Sam Houser. This one was quite the crazy experience. Let's do that. And then do that. And then do that. And then in return, the New York Supreme Court has ruled that despite the seemingly warm exchanges between Benzie and his ex-employees recorded here, there's a link to, I guess, the recordings. These exchanges weren't enough to establish the special circumstances that might give rise to a fiduciary relationship to warrant the equal share Benzie's claims he's owned. Which that seemed like that was going to be more than likely the case. Let's do this. The court has denied or dismissed several of Benzie's claims in the absence of a fiduciary relationship. The claims for aiding and abetting the breach of fiduciary duty, constructive fraud, and negligent misrepresentation cannot stand, states the court's opinion. Court has also stated that the 2009 royalty plan contains no language mandating equal payments, meaning Benzie's likely won't get the full royalty payout he's hoping for, but the court has also let several parts of the lawsuit continue. So, a bit of a setback. And maybe a very good reason why we haven't seen GTA 6. Like, it's been quite a long time that it should be in development. It kind of has to be the best game ever, since GTA 5 is the best game ever. And I know they're doing GTA Online right now, but GTA 6 needs to be in development. They need to come out with some announcements. I wouldn't be surprised if something was shown at E3, if not a full announcement. But maybe this lawsuit's making that difficult. Moving on, Gamasutra has an article that the Leap Motion has revealed an open source North Star augmented reality headset. The last thing we probably need is another VR or AR headset, but I think augmented reality probably is the way to go if you were going to do that, because there's less competition in that field. Let's see. So yeah, the thing about augmented reality is it's not going to work and be successful until it is just a pair of glasses. And as comfortable as a pair of glasses is, a good pair of glasses is for people who wear glasses, and comfortable enough that people who don't wear glasses would be willing to wear them. If it's any kind of crazy headset above that, you're just going to have problems. I'm going to go ahead and kill this guy. And attack here. Let's see. Gametsu has an interview with Pseudo51 at PAX East 2018. So Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes, I think is not an actual sequel to the No More Heroes series, but instead it's like 18 little mini games. But oddly, is Pseudo saying that it's about as long as No More Heroes 1 or 2, which I don't believe that's really the case, because there was a lot of mini games and grinding you had to do in No More Heroes 1, and that's just not what this game is. So if you want to see that interview that's there, let's see. Alright, attack here, 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 here. Let's see. So Sam Fisher is going to sneak into Ghost Recon Wildlands this week as a special, I think, special operative, which for Special Operation Number 1. I don't know if that means you're going to get to play as Sam Fisher at all, or if it means you're going to only get to play as him for maybe a short time. Or maybe it means that you're going to, let's see, poisonous is what I needed. Right. This. So yeah, I guess if you're playing Ghost Recon Wildlands, which I guess is not, that's not the one where it's a multiplayer game. Like, this is a totally different game that I've totally forgotten about or never heard of. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. The first operation of Year 2 as being Splinter Cell themed. So can you even play this game on Steam? Like, I'm not even seeing Steam links to Ghost Recon Wildlands. I think it's on Steam. I don't particularly want to play it, but let's see, this and this and this And this. And then return. Alright, moving on then, I guess. One of these days I might play the Tom Clancy series of games. Maybe, but right now is probably not one of those days. Death rattle or +3 health, which would be more helpful? Just to play the death rattle. So I can do this. So I can play this. There we go. So, in some slightly news, according to Gamma Sutra, Resident Evil 7 has now surpassed 5.1 million sales worldwide. Around the 15 months of being on shelves, so slightly 3 months after a year. Horror games, horror survival games are always a little bit of a niche, so the fact that it's successful, the fact that we're probably not gonna see Resident Evil get turned back into what Resident Evil 6 was, which was this action game that really seemed to have no desire whatsoever to be a horror based at all. Is nice. It's a good move. Let's see. Do I want to kill something or do I just want to attack? I think I just will attack. See, it got over 3 million in sales in under 3 weeks, so and it got over 4 million in November last year. So it got a little bit of a bump. Probably not due to any real DLC or anything, just maybe some luckiness. Alright. Adapt a friendly minion to be poisonous, so we can kill this one. And let's see. I'm on a win streak right now, so there's no reason not to take the victory. So I'm gonna take it. I may be bumped up to rank 20. I'm surprised I'm winning here at all. Hey, I guess if you have a good deck, you're doing well. And see, that puts me, I've got all the quests done that I now knew I needed to do. So we just really need to play because we want to ride this win streak. In fact, I shouldn't have even left. I should have kept the streak going and played. Like that is superstitious, certainly, but there is, I believe, some subconscious reasons for you not to leave the table when winning. Always leave the table. This is a poker analogy. When you're losing. Back to the game. Let's see. I still got a decent amount of news, but once we're done with the news, we'll be done with this stream. Apparently, Mercenary Saga Chronicles Physical Edition is coming to North America this summer. This looks like a top-down strategy game of some sort. I've never even heard of it. It's at the Nintendo eShop, so it's probably going to be a physical copy for the Switch, and that's it. Yeah, it doesn't even seem like it's on the PlayStation 4 Vita, which means something interesting, certainly. PC Gamer has an article. NVIDIA will no longer make GPU drivers for 32-bit operating systems or Fermi graphic cards. Out with the old, in with the new. You would have a have a pretty old system if you're still running a 32-bit operating system. The only thing I can think of that still maybe is running a 32-bit operating system are like Raspberry Pis, which don't have enough RAM in them to even make sense. And even they are thinking about going to 64-bit. Seems like NVIDIA is going to continue to support with security updates until January 2019. As far as Fermi cards, I don't think anybody really would have a Fermi card anyways. Time to update. Like, it's really the wrong time to make this announcement considering how expensive your NVIDIA's video cards are right now. Because if you did have a 32-bit operating system and a Fermi card and needed to update and wanted to get a modern 1060 or something, you're going to be spending maybe $100 extra over what it should be. Let's see. Your Gamer has an article. The new game by the Lawbreakers studio Boss Key is a 1980s battle royale game. Is it called Radical Heights? Like, that seems like very cynical to turn your game to fail at Lawbreakers and then just make a battle royale game. And isn't Lawbreakers supposed to be the thing that was going to replace Saints Row? Like, and it didn't succeed at that. Like, and it's out in extreme early access tomorrow, which is not a phrase I ever want to hear used again in my life. Let's see, Boss Key. Here's a article from 6 Hours Ago. Boss Key responds to early pay-to-win concerns about Radical Heights. Let's see. Boss Key Productions as their website. Lawbreakers. And that's it. So, failure to probably failure. Let's see what Wikipedia has to say. Let's see. For video game developer, see Boss Key Productions. Okay. A video game development studio based in Raleigh, North Carolina, founded in 2014 by Cliff Bleszinski. Oh, I see. I see what's going on. Cliff Bleszinski cannot make a good game. He got lucky with Gears of War. He doesn't have the rights to Gears of War. And he hasn't been able to make anything interesting. And he's really, really young, considering he's already taken like one sabbatical away from making games. Let's see. And their Wikipedia page barely has anything on it. Anyways, Cliff Bleszinski. He worked for Epic Games between 1992 and 2012. And let's see. He made his first game in 1991 was The Palace of Deceit, Dare to Dream, Jazz Jackrabbit, Unreal Tournament. See, he kind of made the Unreal Engine. And he should just be happy with that and continue to see if he can have some input or influence on the Unreal Engine instead of trying to make games. Unreal Tournament 24, Unreal Championship 2, the Laundry Conflict, Gears of War in 2006, Gears of War 2008, Shadow Complex in 2009. I didn't realize he was involved in that. Bulletstorm in 2011. That's when it starts to go downhill. Bulletstorm had some really bad writing right about this point. So 2006 was Gears of War 2, when the bro culture was fine in video games and embraced. By 2011, the bro culture was no longer acceptable, and it was being labeled as toxic masculinity. And I think that may very well just kill so much of like Cliff Bleszinski and probably a lot of other game developers. Let's see. Apparently he was a co-designer of an arena stage in Superhot. He worked on Gears of War 3 in 2011 and then Lawbreakers. Like there's a 5-year gap between Gears of War 3 and Superhot in 2016. Lawbreakers in 2017, Radical Heights. He was a consultant in the 2006 movie Stay Alive, which I believe was based on a video game. How am I gonna survive this? This is not fair at all. That's why you don't break the streak. Right there. That's why you don't break the streak. He was in various Mega 64 skits. He was in Jake Amir, Sonic for Hire, Video Game High School Season 2 Episode 1. Interesting. He must have just had a walk-on. Video Games the Movie 2014. He was on the Jimquisition episode, and he's in Gears of War to be announced as a executive producer or movie consultant. What was that ding? You get a friend request, Yeah, I don't have a lot of hope for Radical Heights or Cliff Bleszinski. I mean, what do you do with somebody like this? I don't know. I don't know what to do. And there went my win streak. Lawbreakers was a big failure. It wasn't a big failure though for Saints Row. That was some other game. We already talked about this game, so I don't need to discuss that again. Like, Gamma Sutra allows a lot of people to blog on their website, so there's a recap of the roundtable for localization. It's just called Recap of Our Roundtable at GDC. Localization Roundtable at GDC presented by the IGDA, which will be interesting certainly because localization and censorship often end up feeling very similar. The Seafaring Survival game Raft is coming to Steam next month. I'm pretty sure I saw a game like this, so I'm confused as if there are maybe 2 games where you are living on a raft and you have to... No, this is that game that I've seen other people play, so they must have just been either playing it in some kind of special early access or it's been available on something besides Steam. So you start up on this one raft and you have to build a floating platoon. Seems like you can jump in the water and swim now, which I don't believe it was. It was released as a free prototype on itch in 2016. Like, I don't know. It's just like The Forest. Like, in my head, I don't think people now, after seeing so many other people play the game Raft, I don't think anybody's gonna be interested in seeing it or playing it. but I guess I'll maybe follow it and just keep an eye on it. These games that come out too early, they burn bright and then they don't get any sales. Or at least that's my perception. I guess I could be totally wrong. It might be that Raft gets way more sales than it deserves because of the 3 or 4 months that people were playing that game nearly 6 months ago. PC Gamer has an article, Hack the Deep Web and Hide from Hitman, in an offbeat horror game called Welcome to the Game 2. Let's see. It's on Steam for $10 right now. At least it's not one of these PC Gamer articles about a game that's not even available. Man, letting HS Replay build me a deck is clearly better than what I can build. Obviously, I'm actually succeeding. I'm amazed I'm at rank 20 even. So Welcome to Game 2 is 77% positive of 190 users in the past 30 days. It's labeled as a horror violent indie strategy. It looks like it's got some hacking mini games, but also some violence in 3D and walking around spooky places. So there's a real divergence here between hacking mini games that look like they're the real main mini game element and walking around. I need to see some negative reviews and see what they say. This game is boring and no fun. Do you like sitting at a computer while your computer IRL? Of course you don't. No one does. Stay away from this awfully boring, overly complicated game. You would have more fun actually exploring the real deep web and getting murdered IRL than playing this game. 0 out of 10. Like, interesting review. Well, apparently he didn't have a watch and learn, or I didn't get a reward for that. Let's see. This game is annoying chore to play. Random stutter every now and then, and even then I meet the system requirements. In a game like this where paying attention to other cues is key to survival, playing random notes that should mean something, knocking footsteps, breathing right in your ear, but don't actually mean anything is stupid. The entire game is one big game of chance, randomly getting screwed over by something unavoidable. Examples: I'm on my computer looking for keys when I look over and see one of the Nora goons in my window. I turn off my computer, run out the door towards the fire escape, where I immediately am met by SWAT and arrested. Next review says, long, boring, and annoying. The one was cool, fast, and challenging. This one depends on how much Dogecoin you use to buy protection, internet speed. So it almost seems like a game like Uplink, or an attempt to be something like Uplink with a 3D element. I don't know. I'm gonna follow this game, but I can't recommend something that seems just so crazily different. Some news about Hearthstone. Hearthstone's next update will let you borrow a friend's deck and play it against them. Share your decks with your friend and give their deck a spin while you're at it. So that's kind of cool. But will it just be in certain modes, or can you literally lend your deck to somebody and then not ever see it again because they defriend you or something? Let's see. If you're challenging another player, or maybe you're new to the game, you don't have a lot of decks, or you just want to help somebody playtest, you can hit the borrowed decks and they'll get a little dialog box. And they can say, yeah, they can use my decks in this challenge. So for that 1 versus 1 friendly play experience, now you can use each other's deck. You can swap decks and play each other. Alright, interesting. Hearthstone players have been clamoring for a way to share their collections with their friends for years, and borrowing decks feels like a tidy solution that you need. It's also another way to play with your friends, which ties into Team 5's hopes of improving fireside gatherings. So yeah, that seems like a, if you can only use it for that one game, that's fine. And I assume you probably could even borrow the deck and play with the deck at the same time. So you're not even gonna be losing use of the deck for that one game, I imagine. Gematsu has an article, Final Fantasy 15 4-episode DLC, The Dawn of the Future has been announced, plus so some more. It seems like there's episode 1, episode side story, episode 2, and episode 3. Final Fantasy 15 is already available for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So some more DLC for Final Fantasy 15. Metal Slug XX is coming to the PlayStation 4 this summer. An updated version of Metal Slug 7, Metal Slug XX, was released for the PSP in 2009. It added co-op, multiplayer, and downloadable content. The game was later released on Xbox 360 via Xbox Live Arcade, so the game now for a third time is getting re-released. Interesting. This, and end. There's a garbage game on Steam called Tank Ball. I can tell you it's garbage. It's $3.99 with no discount. I can tell you it's garbage because it has MS Paint level quality animation. Nothing really needed to be said there. No reviews. Burn through some of these bad games going forward. Let's see. Disgaea 5 Complete is due May. It's going to come out on PC, and I believe, yeah, May 7th. So, I'll want that. Like, if I was going to play the Disgaea series, I am going to probably have to at least think about playing Disgaea 1, 2, and 3, and 4 first. I know 2 is on PC. It's possible that 1 and 3 aren't and 4 isn't. So I should do some more research. I mentioned 4X games last stream, and I was like, what are 4X games? Apparently 4X games are games, a genre that I have forgotten. It's the explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate games. So none of those are really X's because they don't start with an X. But let's ignore that for a second. Let's kill this guy. So they're the big space games for the most part. You could probably call them real-time strategy games too, and they're not always space games. They can certainly be like Ages of Empires. They don't particularly, as a game, interest me. And here we have yet another fake game from somebody who's putting a lot of fake garbage games on Steam. From the maker of Kill the Emoji, there's a game called Puke Simulator, which is just an asset flip. It looks like it isn't an asset flip, but it's, if somebody didn't asset flip, then I'd feel like they wasted their time. And it's almost certainly an asset flip. Maybe one of the best looking asset flips I've ever seen. Let's see, dude. There are 4 reviews. Let's look at the 2 negative ones. More like a walking simulator, some puke would randomly fly out when starting a single player game, and then that was it. Couldn't get any more puke to fly out. Let's see. And then here's a negative review that just says, has more content than Sea of Thieves. Which, that's just a troll response. Of course. This game has had an all-time peak of 3 people playing it. If they could get a real game around something and call it Puke Simulator, I'd be slightly intrigued. It would give me a thought. Let's see, we need a poisonous to kill this guy. Let's see. Night Dive Studio shared its source code for System Shock on Mac. I guess that'll be interesting to people who want to look at that and potentially try and get the old System Shock to run a little bit better on Steam. Well, Mac versions, Mac operating systems. And I'm at the Humble store, so the Humble Indie Bundle ends in about 16 hours. And did they unlock anything new? No. And I'm still in no point where I can budget to buy anything. But if somebody wants to buy some Steam codes and direct message them to me on Twitter, I would more than appreciate that. Help the collection get larger so I have more variety of games to cover. And that leaves us back to Twitter and one more game, I imagine, and then that'll be the end of the stream. Pretty good stream. If I wasn't winning right now, I'd be playing on the Asian or European account and trying to get one of those daily quests done that are extra. But since I'm winning and since those need to be traded out anyways, this is the best thing to do. Let's see. Apparently Double Fine retweeted where you could listen to the composer who created Grim Fandango soundtrack. He's doing the Jazz of Grim Fandango concert, and you can buy tickets. So I bet that's in California. Let's just end our turn here. His name is Peter N. McConnell, apparently. Middle initial N. Gotta keep playing. If I'm gonna play, I gotta play the game. So I'm scrolling down Twitter now and trying to see if any new news has happened. There's a good chance that something did happen. Because we started, for the most part, we started on time today. No, I'm gonna die. So let's go and kill this, and then attack here. And then in the turn. YouTube creator posted, in case you missed it, Madonna and Kim Kardashian dropped by the YouTube Space LA to tell their beauty stories. So yeah, again, like, that's YouTube. We don't want to support the YouTube creators. We would rather cut off their money sources and give it to Madonna and Kim Kardashian. Like, Madonna and Kim Kardashian are going to stop doing their TV and music and movie and acting careers or whatever they want to do this week and become YouTube content creators. And, like, that's going to bring people week to week to YouTube. It's ridiculous. Here's a game we'll talk about on Wednesday, I guess. It's a co-op puzzle where two players navigate cliffs while they're tied together with a rope. Interesting. What I want to do here. Let's play this. Do that. Keep on scrolling. Ys 8 launches for PC on April 16th. I don't think there's really anything else that needs to be said there. Portable fort sprouting grenades are coming to Fortnite. Interesting idea. I don't really need to talk about that. Let's see. Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana for Steam will be available on Steam, and Good Old Games will be available on April 16th, sorry. Get the actual date right. Let's go ahead and kill this. And adapt a friendly beast. Wind Fury. Here's an article about a game for a roller coaster park manager. We'll talk about that. Here's a game called Lamplight that I've never heard of. You gotta keep playing, do this. Man, I keep winning. I shouldn't stop playing because I'm winning. Let's just keep going. Win streaks. Win streaks, win streaks, win streaks. Because I'm totally going to stop playing as soon as I stop streaming. So we'll do one more game as I'm scrolling down Twitter. And it's amazing just how... like, how many... What am I trying to say? I lost my train of thought there. It's amazing how good this deck is that was suggested to me by the Hearthstone deck tracker app using HS Replay compared to what I build. So much so that I can barely even pay attention here. and I'm getting win streaks. Like 11-3 victories. 11 wins to 3 losses is incredibly, insanely high for me. I barely scratch 50%. You're only supposed to get somewhere around 50 to 55%. Alright, 3 hours ago, Hearthstone episode number 872 aired. Here's an article we might talk about. Wednesday. Hand of Fate 2 just got better with a free endless mode and new content. Well, that's good. I plan to eventually get around to playing Hand of Fate 2. I've relatively recently played Hand of Fate 1. So I'm not super itching to play the sequel, although I'd be fine with it. It's just trying to keep things diverse in my long list of games I'm always playing. Like Resident Evil 5, Biohazard 5. Episode 1 just aired 4 hours ago on my channel. Wow. There is a big split between what I'm recording now and what is airing. And that split's only getting bigger and bigger. Darn you. Darn you, darn you, darn you. So yeah. Starting today, you can start watching me play RE5. I like RE5 alright. It's not as good as RE4. You'll hear me say that a lot, probably in that series. But it was a decent experience. Pretty long experience, too. And see, we started streaming 4 hours ago, which probably tells me that there actually isn't any new news beyond that. With the exception of what's on Steam, which comes in little bursts of when new games get announced or come out, there's fewer and fewer items or tweets and information I'm getting, but I'm not really missing out on too much. I'm just missing out on articles and opinion pieces. A new Rainbow Six Siege exploit is turning Blitz into a monster, apparently. This year's BlizzCon will take place in November. Tickets may go on sale in May. Bionic Commando number 4 aired on my channel. That's a game definitely to watch and not play if you're gonna get the story, because it is not a game worth playing. Fallout New California, the Fallout New Vegas prequel mod, has entered its beta phase. We'll maybe talk about that a little bit more Wednesday. I think I've hit the point where I've seen all the news. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything new, which is fine. It's been a good day. Maybe not enough people on the chat. Like I can kind of complain about that, but that's my only real complaint is See, now I'm starting to scroll down further, and apparently I missed a gap of things. 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Kind of have to do this. So yeah, I'll have a couple games to mention. Jim Sterling is quickly moving himself up to be the next person muted on my Twitter feed because he's talking way too much about wrestling. So who's gonna win? Who's gonna win in this game? There's a good chance I'll lose. But if I get one spell card that could do now about 10 damage, which I won't get that. Well, whatever. I imagine we won't have any big news. Let's see. Not until E3. My plan, my very loose tentative plan right now, is to try and stream as much as the E3 that I'm awake for. I will not be wasting too much time on the stupid fake live stream that not Double Fine, but Devolver Digital does. Like, I'll probably watch the first skit on that, and that's about it. But I'm not gonna stick with it, and like I did last year, and go several hours watching garbage. I imagine we're going to probably just live stream all of it, and maybe just all of it as its original content. I don't think we're going to be doing too much Hearthstone at all. If I am even playing Hearthstone, it may very well just be on the side screen where nobody else can see it but me. Just because, frankly, people either claim it or they don't claim it. And when Nintendo claimed content that they clearly didn't own, it didn't matter. Like, they just claimed it. They just make illegal false claims and they get away with it. And there's really nothing I can do short of forcing them to sue me to then counter the lawsuit, which is not something that's reasonable to do. Man, there's so much on my Twitter feed I missed. What did I do this morning? Like, I scrolled down my Twitter feed and I think it's just changing on me half the time. There's entire, like, I have almost as many tabs open now for Wednesday as I did starting the stream today. And that's pretty crazy. I'm just on a web browser on Twitter, so somebody let me know if there's some kind of trick now to get your Twitter feed to actually to make sure it shows you every content in a chronological order. Alright, well, that's it for this stream. We did it. We've got on all the things we need to do. We don't have a pack over here to open. We'll have a bunch of packs open in the next when the expansion comes out. That's it for the stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. If you want to support me even further, gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.